shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, December 14th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. It was a profitable night. There was good and bad. We should start with the bad. NHL was disappointing. Devils -1 pushed. Jets first period was a bad loser, and they win 5-2. And the Ducks, without McTavish and Zegras and Drysdale, even though the score reported that McTavish was in the lineup, and then he wasn't. With all of that, the Ducks were up 3-2 with 4 minutes left in the game. And, they were up 3-3 with 1:45 seconds left in the game and had a power play. So that hurt. But 9 straight winners in college basketball. You may remember when my record said 4-16. Now it says 4-6. You might remember when my record said 4-6. Now it says 13-6. We've cashed 13 of our last 16 NBA bets. We swept the board in basketball. 2-0 in college. 2-0 in NBA, 3-0 in college. Our NBA action right now is, I don't remember it ever. I don't remember ever seeing things this clearly. And it's not the actual sport that I'm seeing clearly. It's how I, as a capper, with my skill set, can succeed in the sport. That's the difference. It's not like nothing's changed except for all the years that I've been doing this and tracking my actions, seeing what I'm succeeding with and seeing what I'm losing at, and my own limitations, my own intellect. Why would I be trying to beat the Vegas books with totals? I mean, what special gift do I think I have mathematically that I could, beat these advanced models in totals? Focusing only on sides, our record now 29-14 in NBA this year. Cutting the quantity of action down so that the unit increase will be on the 1st of January this year. And then I will plan for another unit increase on the 1st of January in 2025. I don't think I'll force it. Now, if the roll or the heat keeps continuing, we can maybe make changes after 6 months. But we've cashed. I mean, it's just crazy to talk about it. We have cashed 22 of our last 25 basketball bets, all one unit. For record-keeping purposes. I mean, this shit, it's real, and I need it to continue. Now, NHL, the status quo is not good enough, and in NFL, where I'm at right now in the season, it's not good enough. So it's not like across the board I'm dominating, but things are moving in the right direction. I feel it. My bankroll feels it. And I'm pumped up. This is the time of year where, we don't sleep. All the records are up to date except for college football, again, with our guests. But all the other records are up to date. And I've got action in. And I am struggling with lack of sleep. I can't. There's just so much work to do. It's just, it'll be never ending really until the end of the NFL regular season. And it feels like for me sort of that so much energy goes into that Tuesday NFL show that I slip. I fall a little bit behind in NBA and NHL, just staying on top of the injuries and everything like that. So it feels like as soon as that show's over at midnight, I'm sort of trying to catch up. But regardless, what we're doing here right now is working. And I need to warn you guys that the house, there's a bit of mayhem in the house here. The wife has the flu. So Ella's sick, home from school. I'm going to try to stay as focused as possible. Equanimus in the house. Sammy Calmer, Clippers first quarter -1.5, -114. This is, Sammy Calmer is a perfect example of what's working here on the show. Last night, or yesterday, I should say, I wanted to back the Pistons first quarter. I wanted to. Felt like after the Sixers, 45-point win that they might come in a little lazy against the worst team in the league. But Sammy Calmer's on the Sixers, -3. And despite my logic or X's and O's or my situational capping wanting to be on the other side, I respect Sammy implicitly. So I stay off of it. Saved. Now I'm still just at 150 a unit for NBA. And I'm wanting to wait till January 1st to push that up. But still save me $150, and that's important. NBA units have always been smaller than NHL and NFL. And just because I'm hot right now, anytime I've changed my unit size in the midst of a hot streak, it stopped. Justin McElvey stacks play. So shout out to you, Sammy. Justin McElvey stacks play today. Colby White over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists at +110. So, I know that with my, let me copy and paste both of those. I was talking about some ideology behind what's going on here, and for me at least. And, this is year 6 doing this publicly with you guys. And when I started, I really kind of focused on the content, mixing my stand-up and acting background with the gambling. But now, this deep into the game, I only care about winning. And the only way I think that my content can take things to the next level is if my unit size is higher. And I'm not talking about individual shows that I do. I'm just talking about my content in general. When I can sit here in front of you with, minimum $500 tickets, or $1,000 bets. I mean, now that's what I need to. If I walk into a sports book right now, sure, I can start drinking and we can start having fun and laughing, whatever. And we can film that shit, whatever. But if I walk into that sports book with $20K, that's just, part of a little bit of my bankroll. Now we're talking. That's what I need to do to take things to the next level. I see it clearly. I was talking about how the NFL bankroll blitz, there's not much levity. It's not like a fun show because there's so much work to do. I'm not going to care about any of that shit anymore. I only am going to care about winning. That's it. And that's all. B-Lab69 in the house says, Jimmy, who the fuck bets the Jazz? You're damn right. B-Lab69. Wish I took a money line as well. But that was just a no doubter. That was just a, oh, man. And even because after the show's over, it was +5. And despite Markkanen and Kessler being in and starting, that line moved to 6 because the public was hammering the Knicks to try and get their money back. It was perfect. Subhuman Gaucho. There's Dave Burke. Ron Crawford is on the Wild -1. I've moved on 4 bets in NHL, and I'm pumped up about the NHL card. Pumped up to have Mr. Gogster here rolling with us. Let's lock this in here for the spreadsheet play of the day. Minnesota Wild. That is strangely, and you guys know me and my love of garbage fires and bum fights. I dislike these two teams so much. I dislike their product on the ice so much. I don't find them trustworthy at all. And even capping this game, I was like, sure, I want to fade the Flames out of pure hate. but that's a ballsy spot. What's the juice you're getting on that Wild -1, Ron, my man? There is Dan Kelly. Says, should we get Draymond Green in the chat? He's got lots of time on his hands. Ian Shaber says, woke up to a nice boost in the account. Hammered him yesterday. I love it, Ian. Jay Smooth, ready to get to work. Great to see you, Jay Smooth. We got goal 44, Detroit plus 147, and mixed with Chicago plus 1.5. So we're completely on the other side, opposite side of things here. I could be so wrong about this, but I think that fading Detroit tonight is, from a market standpoint, one of the great gifts of the day. Because if you were, now, let me ask you, if you were putting a market together and you had a Detroit Red Wings team that's 15-9-4 and 8-4-3 at home, clearly making their backers cash, and then you take off the two top line centers, you take Dylan Larkin, who is for sure most valuable player conversation this year. You take him off, and then you take JT Compher off. So you take off Klim Kostin too, and now Compher and Kostin both can play the wing, but are both listed as centermen and do play center. So arguably, you've taken off the top three centers on the Detroit Red Wings out of the lineup. Can this market, is it so advanced that they're able to adjust on the fly properly what this Detroit Red Wings team that's winning for the first time in years is worth value-wise without their top three centermen? I say it can't. Of course, I could be wrong, and Red Wing backers have made themselves a lot of money, but I believe truly that the market can't possibly correct itself fast enough on what this Red Wings roster looks like, missing their top three centermen. And I think that the Hurricanes, I think the Blues are probably the best spot on the board, with the new coach. But I think the Hurricanes are arguably one of the best spots on the entire sports landscape here, especially with Alex Lyon, .930 save percentage. There's a reason why he hasn't had a job in the NHL. LJ from H-Town in the house, catching Denver first quarter -3. Great job. Brent Cook ready to go. There's Lucas Ryan in the house. Oh, sorry, a little frozen there. There's Clint Star, the diehard MMA podcast, UFC 296 best bet, Brandon Royval. Copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Clint, my friend. Copied and pasted. Subhuman Gaucho in the house gave us a winner yesterday. Come on, stop. Here we go. The soccer play of the day is Brighton versus Marseille. Let's copy and paste that. It's the over 3 at -103. Let's get that locked in here. Locked in. Kelly McInnes in the house. There is the nuke worker. BJ ready to get to work. Raiders money line 5 units. I'm very close to going up against you, BJ. Very, very close. We'll talk all about it. Aiden O'Connell is starting for the Raiders. Sometimes I think that in what we do, you can say something out loud, say, oh, I believe this or I feel that. And this is really the only game on this whole sports landscape that this really means something to me is really this game. That I can tell in my breakdown with Gokster, I'm going to give you a side or a possibility. But the thing is that forget as a capper, but as a fucking man, I can't give you this side of things and then not bet it. What kind of bullshit is that? Is that really you want to see some fair weather clown giving you an angle and saying, but I'm not going to bet it. Of course not going to bet it. I mean, so I feel like if I'm going to give you the breakdown that I see, now the market is still kind of revealing itself here, and I want to see what that reveal is. But I just feel like that if I'm going to say certain things, I can't just not follow through with them. So in other spots, we'll get into that football game in a bit, but that does make me very concerned. I've copied and pasted that, BJ, my man. Billy Briz says hoops were beautiful last night. Shout out to the Jazz. Yeah, that was too easy. Brizzy, my man. Joe T, ready to get to work. Dan Kelly says, first take care of your health. Without your health, you have nothing. Things are going fine. Things are fine here. House is sick. I got the flu shot. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about here. Nothing to worry about here. Ella's first Glee Club performance. Les Miserables. She's 6. We're going over Les Miserables right now, which is good. It's good because you watch the shit she sees on TikTok all day. Les Miserables is a refreshing change from that fucking K-pop. Great to see all you guys. There's Dabra Cadabra in the house. J-Dub, Sammy, Comer saying hope they get well soon. Thank you. There's Wine Time Sports in the house. Wine Time Sports making his NFL Pub Hub debut this weekend. We have Dabby Cab making his debut last weekend. We have 2 cappers making their debut this weekend. Not just Wine Time, but we're bringing in a ringer, Troy Torrance, coming in. Why wouldn't he be on? Why is he not on? Why? Just because we see his looks on Tuesday doesn't mean we shouldn't see his best bets on Sunday. It was a mistake by me. All right, let's roll. Dabby Cab says, all about the hoops. It was a good-ass time yesterday. Glad you were with us. To Billy Brisbane. Great to see all of you guys. So, and then Clint's daughter's sick too. Yeah, it's a tough time. There's Matty Ice in the house. Matty Ice, can't wait to see you in San Antonio for Pubapalooza. Maybe Clint makes his first ever appearance at Pubapalooza. We would sure love that, Clint. Pubapalooza is going to be just off the chains this year. Kong's clip says, what % of your bankroll should your unit size be? It should be between 1 and 2.5%. Your unit size should be between 1 and 2.5% of your bankroll. 2.5 should be your max bet, not 5%. D. Jenkins in the house. Great to see you. Let me see. I'm a little behind here. So, my fucking diatribe of fucking monologue up the top took a little too long. D. Jenkins, Justin McElvey says, can we start starting Pubapalooza? Can you start pronouncing my name right? McElvey. Justin McElvey. How am I doing it wrong? McElvey. Justin McElvey. McElvey. Justin McElvey. Justin McElvey. I've never said it differently than that. You want me to hit the ma for a little longer? Kelvy. You want that? I don't know what you're talking about. And I haven't slept. So I'm a little on edge. Dan Kelly says you might have to move to Vegas. I would like that, Dan. But you have to earn that shit. And I've got to prove to my family that that's a worthwhile move for us to leave the Ellis family. Dabby Cab, James Parm, Nick Allegretti. Great to see all you guys. The New Worker Wine Time. Let's get to work now. Bankroll Spence, Red Girl, DC Capper, Nasty Nate, Brooklyn Funk Project, Londo, Nick Allegretti. Great to see all you guys. Jay Peasy in the house. Perky Sanderson, Michael Johnson. Yeah, Michael Johnson. I mean, I still, can you believe that LA loses and I still got that wrong? So, BT, Brent, now a member of We Be Pubbin'. I love it. Great to see all you guys. Scarminati. Is it pronounced Mickelvey? Muckelvey. Muckelvey. Is that what it's Justin Muckelvey? All right, I can hit that. Muckelvey, that's it. We can hit that. Nick Allegretti, Brent Vini. All right, let's get to work here. Oh, and Delpit. We got more Delpit information. Sorry, was that some Delpit news? Yes, Dan Kelly, Delpit out at least 4 weeks. Okonkwo out for the season. Browns have half an all-pro team on the IR. Okay, let's get to work here right now. Thank you guys for joining us again. Yesterday, 0-2 in NHL, and then we've hit 9 straight. So we went 3-0 in college basketball and 2-0 in NBA. All right, let's go. Please welcome our NHL and NFL expert here on Thursdays on Betting with the Bag. Coming to us from the only I don't know if it's a city, maybe it's a township. The only township dirtier than Rochester, Mikey's Rochester. Now, Mikey Money drinks Listerine straight from the bottle now. That's what's happened to him. He's been in the dirty Chester for too long. He's older. We're going to see what happens to Mr. Gokster when he's Mikey's age. I'm sure, but drinking Listerine out of the Just got to keep that hot crack pipe out of his pocket, burning a hole in his pants. But right now, he's good. Right now, he's sharp. You'll see him in San Antonio and Palooza right now. He's got all his wits about him, but fucking Belleville will get you. Please welcome from Belleville, Ontario, Mr. Gokster to the show.
Hello,
Mr.
buddy.
Gokster, my friend.
What's going on, Jimmy? How you doing today, buddy?
I am doing well. How are you, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. Nice, smaller slate, eh? Nice 4 games here today. So I think we can get some winners. I got a smaller card for you guys. Sorry?
4 games.
8.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you said 4 games there.
No. Sorry. I'll slow down here. Yeah, 8 games. I like I don't like this NFL game. This NFL game, I think, is going to be a tough cap, but we'll get into that soon, guys. Everyone in the chat, welcome. Let's get after it, Jimmy.
Let's get after it right now. Columbus Blue Jackets 9-16-5. You know what? We'll do, Justin. When we're down in San Antonio, we'll have a drink. I'll learn how to pronounce it right. For now, we'll just go Justin. Let's just go Justin for now. Let's go Justin. Okay, let's get to work here. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets 9-16-5, 2-8-3 on the road at Toronto Maple Leafs. 15-6-5, 8-4-1 at home at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Are we expecting Elvis Merzlikins to be healthy after being on the IR for a week?
No, I'm thinking it's Tarasov. It looks I got Tarasov cap for this one, Jim.
And do you have him confirmed by the books?
It's not confirmed yet. A lot of these goalies, this early, we don't have the confirmations, but I'll if I do, I'll bring something up here.
All right, going up against Ilya Samsonov, we do expect that Wall hurt.
Yeah, Wall's not coming back. He's out for at least a month.
Columbus power play 14.1%, penalty killing 85.9%. Toronto power play at 25%, penalty killing at 80%. Let's get into the line history here for this one off the hop. And there had been, yes, there has. This isn't refreshed. Let me just refresh this. There's been a big move to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were plus 226 earlier. They're now plus 215 at Pinnacle, but they opened up at plus 230. So there has been a move and a big one in the last little while. One that I was expecting. This isn't one of the spots where the favorites is going to become a bigger favorite. From a total scenario here, we have it sitting at 6.5. 7 is listed, but we know it's a juiced 6.5 to the over or a very juiced 7 to the under here. And Jackets coming off their 4th loss in 5 games, 5-2 at home versus Florida on Sunday night. Losing Boone Jenner for a month is a real tough loss. Can Adam Fantilli be a number 1 center at 19 years old? He can tonight in the center of the hockey universe. But can he do this for a month? I believe that he can do it tonight. Pascal Vincent could be a great coach. I really do believe in him. This all-Russian second line is so dangerous. Chinnikov, Voronkov, and Marchenko.
Hello.
Good God. Is this a line that is going to get better and better and better and better? There's son Dizzle in the house as he'll be in New Orleans for the game on Sunday. I love that. So they continue to play without Adam Boqvist and Damon Severson. Those are losses on D and center Jack Roslovic. Leafs coming off their 3rd win in 4 games, 7-3 at the Rangers on Tuesday night. How can they not be exhausted? This is their 3rd game in 4 nights. I don't know how they could not be exhausted. Because of this, I want the Blue Jackets badly. I think the Blue Jackets are bet on. I would like to bet on them possibly blindly for the next little while. Boone Jenner being hurt does give me pause. But I still bet them first period. This game to the Leafs means nothing to them. This game to the Blue Jackets means so much to these players to get to play in Toronto. And I'm on the Blue Jackets first period of plus 170. Take it away here. And Sammy Comer says, Pens on deck after a dad strip in New York. Bad spot for the Leafs. Dubas revenge game. Take it away for us here. Gokster, I'm on the Blue Jackets first period, plus 170. Floor is yours.
Yeah, more we looked at this game, Jim. The spot, I agree, for Toronto is it's not good. They just Columbus guys, they played on the 10th, which was Saturday, Sunday. Then they played on the 8th. They've had a lot of rest. Coming off a 5-2 loss against Florida, 5-2 win. They've been just a real up and down team, Jim, as we know. Goaltending's been the issue. No confirmation either on Tarasov. But yeah, Toronto back-to-back, dad's trip too for them. Lost to the Islanders, won against the Rangers. Impressive win too. Real tough spot for Toronto. I don't mind your look there, Jim. The number's right too. That plus, what'd you get on the first period?
plus 170. It was plus 170 at Bet365. It was plus 168 at Pinnacle. The line move had already happened, which I expected. I still feel like I'd prefer to cut it down to 20 minutes rather than 60 minutes, especially if it's a 19-year-old center that I'm banking on.
Yeah, I agree too. This team, and they came off that 5-2 loss. They're kind of stewing with that for the last 3 days. What I have written down, I'll stick with it too. I'm gonna take both teams to score, Jim, in the first period. I was kind of humming and hawing on this game. Knives too. They got an injury bug going around the Leafs too right now, guys. I know I heard on the pregame, Jim. They got some guys that possibly Knives, is he going to be in? Possibly not.
Knives is going to be out. Thank you. I had that. Sorry, I had that clip there.
They got the injury bug, right, Jim? Going through the lineup.
I mean, right now you have Giordano out. We know that Klingberg's out long term. Giordano, I mean, he should not have been playing the amount of minutes he was playing. It just goes to show you how weak this defense is. And then Timothy Liljegren out. So they lose Joseph Woll, their best goaltender, and Matthew Knies, as you said, is sick. And remember what Dan always says: when you see the first player pop up on the illness list, you know that this is going to go through the squad.
Yeah, exactly.
But sorry, keep on.
A little update from Dave Alter there, one of the beat writers. Gregor's on the first line with Matthews, Nylander, Bertuzzi, Tavares, Marner, Robertson, Domi, Yarncrook, and then McCann, Kampf, and then Reeves. So anytime you see Reeves in the lineup, he hasn't been in a while too. So not a lot of offense from Reeves. I don't mind I would not be on Toronto in this game, guys. I'm going to take first period, both teams to score, though. It's plus 140, Jimmy. Lock me in for that. It's just Tarasov, I guess. He's coming up from the AHL. I think he's going to be going. 915 save percentage, 2.57 goals against. He's 2-1 with a Blue Jackets team that scores a lot too. I'm going to trust both these goalies too. They're very suspect. I think Toronto's going to have to try and keep up with the Blue Jackets here, who's a really fast hockey team. They're missing Jenner, Gudbranson after that, kind of lost his cool there on our guy Cousins. Merzlikins, and then, like you said, Boqvist and Severson. So I lean to the Blue Jackets, but both teams to score plus 140, Jim.
You got it locked in on Blue Jackets first period. Let's roll on. Next up and big shout out to Piker. We got Poker Addicted 79 back in action. He's been a huge part of our show over the years, and we've missed him dearly. Shout out to Piker. Got to get Piker back in action, man. He brings a lot of fun to the capping industry. Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. Washington Capitals 14-8-3, 6-4-1 on the road. The Philadelphia Flyers 14-8-3. Oh God, I've got the exact man. You can tell sometimes with my notes if I've been sleeping or not. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now it's not because I'm staring at the ceiling. That's the difference. It's just because there's so much work to do. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Going over all the mistakes I've been making. That's not it, which is a good thing. Darcy Kemper 6-6-2, 3.13 goals against average 8.
Charlie Lindgren's going there, just confirmed.
Beautiful, Charlie Lindgren. Let's take that out. Against Carter Hart 9-6-1, 2.42 goals against average 919 save percentage. 1 shutout. We have Washington's power play still horrific, 8.2% power play, a penalty killing 79.8%. Philadelphia's power play atrocious as well, 11.5%, penalty killing 86.7%. Capitals coming off their second straight win, 4-2 at the Blackhawks on Sunday. Flyers had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 3-2 overtime loss at Nashville on Tuesday. Let me pull this up here. Interesting. I'm just realizing now there was one more bet that I was meant to make this morning that I haven't made, but it wasn't in this game. So Flyers had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 3-2 overtime loss at Nashville on Tuesday. I think that the market will correct itself on the Flyers. They're not nearly as good as their numbers indicate, or they're being set up for. And I think the Capitals, I think both these teams are playing over their head and they're not as good as the numbers indicate. And I also will not bet the Flyers as a favorite under any circumstances. They open up a minus 131. They're now minus 128. There's been no movement on it, and I can understand why. And then from a total side of things, which would be the only thing I'd be looking at, it's a 5.5, which is right. This is the right number for it. It should be a 5.5. So I don't see an advantage here. I don't. And I'm not going to move on it. Do you see an advantage here? Take it away, Gokster.
I think it'd just be the total, Jim, and taking the under in this game. I think Charlie Lindgren confirmed. I was going to look at Philadelphia with Kemper. He hasn't looked that good, especially on the road. But with Lindgren in Hart, he's been money in the bank, especially at home. And then the spot, too, I believe the Flyers are coming off that road trip. Yeah, they're coming off a road trip too here, and they'll have 1 day off. So I'm going to lock and load with the first period under. I'm just trying to find the line here. I'm going to double up though. I'm going to do full game under 5.5 plus 100, and I'm going to do first period under 1.5, Jim, and the line is minus 105.
I like it. I respect it.
Yeah,
I like it and respect
I didn't
it.
bring up the sorry to cut you off. I didn't bring up the power play stats here. Just looking at the Flyers, last 3 weeks, something I was looking at 96% on the penalty kill. So the Flyers are not allowing much, and Washington can't score to save their life on the power play. So maybe even I was leaning towards Washington team total under as well here, but I'll just take I'll take the first period under and the full game under, Jim.
Both penalty kills are strong. Philly's penalty kill been strong all year, and both power plays are anemic. I get it. I get you're under 5.5, but I don't feel like sweating this one out. I like that you're using both the first period under 1.5 and the full game. That'd be something I would have to do, and I'm just
plus 100 at least on the 5.5. So. And not lose too much juice. Yeah.
No, I like it. I like it. But I mean, a 3-2, a 2-2 in the third period, which you would love in a divisional game. You know, you expect them to play for the point, but 1 goal scored, and even if it's 2-1 going to the third period, they tied up at 2. You're like, oh, this is good. If 1 lucky bounce goes in, then the empty net. Like I can't. I'm not going to run with it, but I like it. I like it. Let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Hurricanes 15-12-1, 7-10-0 on the road. Detroit Red Wings 15-9-4, 8-4-3 at home. Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. This is the time of year where we can say the market's wrong on this team. The stats that they've compiled over 24, 25 games will not continue, and we can make money either backing it or fading them. And I believe that for both Washington and Philadelphia. I'm not saying that about Detroit. I'm just saying that right now, right as we speak. Dylan Larkin, Klim Kostin, and JT Compher out of the lineup. So is Matt Luff. It's just a huge, huge loss. And my feeling, and this is such a with conviction, is that the market is incapable of understanding what kind of an MVP Larkin has been, and then how important Compher's been to that second line.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they're capable of correcting it fast enough.
I was surprised they beat St. Louis too, Jim. I was surprised they beat the Blues 6-4 in that game. That was just, I guess, St. Louis. As we've seen, they fired their coach, got a Belleville guy. We'll get to that. But yeah, I agree with your sense of how much Larkin and Compher are important to this hockey team. So I'm kind of on board with where you're going here.
Yeah, and so the market has made a big move to Carolina. I'm not the only one that would be thinking this. It's moved from minus 150 to minus 168. Hurricanes opened this Canadian road trip with 4 straight losses. It was horrible.
Yeah.
4 straight losses. Then they win at Ottawa on Tuesday. All this talk about them not being that good of a hockey team. And then the road trip ends tonight. You know what Brind'Amour Moore is going to be like at the end of this road trip. This is such a must-win game. It's a sort of a situation when you think about the Red Wings missing these key components where you think, oh, maybe you don't come in sharp, but Brind'Amour Moore is going to force them being sharp. I got almost this is the line difference between Pinnacle and Bet365 was massive on this one. So I got the Hurricanes -1 at minus 106, and I'm in business here. Take it away for us, Gokster.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here with you, Jim. This game I was really torn between, guys. I ended up firing though on a bit of juice here. I'm just writing in minus 105. Sorry, plus 100 for the other lines. I'm a bit of juice here, Jim. I'm gonna lay it with Carolina, but I'm also gonna take the team total over 2.5. That's gonna be minus 135. Finally turned it on the second period. It was like, here they come, especially their main guy, Sebastian Aho. This guy was he took the game and the rest of the team just followed. I swear to God, it was a really good performance from Carolina. And you got, like you said, Detroit in a bad spot. Huso, he's 4-0-2 at home, guys. But look at this save percentage, Jim, .859, 4.27 goals against. So that's problematic to say the least. But the only thing is Carolina, their goaltending's been so bad. And I don't know who's going to go because they have a back-to-back tough spot for Carolina here, Jim. They got a back-to-back tomorrow at home against Nashville, I have written down. So I still think they have enough firepower to score here. I think their scoring is going to, after that game against Ottawa, I expect them to close this out with a win. And I do think they're going to get over 2.5 goals. Like those numbers I just listed off for Houston guys, they're not that good. And then the injuries too. It's a bad spot for Detroit. Give me Carolina guys money line and the over 2.5 team total for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's -135. Looking at the penalty kill too, Jimmy, 73% last 3 weeks for Detroit, 79% at home. And then you got Carolina 25%, 21% for themselves. And with Aho playing well, I think Carolina gets this done for sure.
I am in agreement with you. And you know that bump that teams get that first game without their stars, it happened already.
Yeah, good point.
So, I like it. Let's move on to the next spot on the board here. So there's 2 spots that I am a couple spots that I'm bullish on. And this is the next one. And this is just, easy. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. We talk about where are the advantages you have in the marketplace. And if all you ever did in your sports gambling career is, you had like $100,000, and every time there was a coaching change, that first game you put $10,000 on that team, and that's all you did. Maybe you got 10 opportunities through the 3 or 4 major sports, let's say, a year. I mean, you'd be brilliant. I mean, if you had that composure to only bet those games. That's tough. The Blues fire Craig Berube. I mean, it's not his fault. It's the team in front of him is trash. Not trash, but poorly constructed. And Drew Bannister makes his NHL coaching debut. Great numbers at Springfield. Took them to the 2022 Calder Cup final. And you know a lot about Bannister, so I'll let you touch on Drew. But there's going to be a bump. There's going to be a bump here. Ottawa comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 4-1 at home versus Carolina on Tuesday. Shabbat out for the Senators. And the Blues have lost 4 straight, and here they are at home, where I love them. There's Nordy in the house. Great to see Nordy. This is just, I've said all year about what I believe that the market's wrong with them at the Enterprise Center. So I at first I was like, I had the +100 or the +106 option, and I was like, it's plus money. It's now moved to +109 at Pinnacle, which is very hard for me to understand. And maybe it's not a black and white thing when the coach comes in and everything changes, but +109 at Pinnacle. And remember, Ottawa's only played 6 games on the road all year. I mean, this bad record is being built at home.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I don't want just even money on this. So I took a -1 and I got +175. I want the money here. And I don't, if they just win by a goal, then I'm wrong. And I'll take the push because I'm wrong. I think they win by more than a goal here. And I don't care what the market's doing. If the market wants to make these decisions based on the numbers that these teams have put together this year, or the fact that the Blues have lost 4 straight, go ahead and do it. But things will be different here, I think. And I'm going to, expect the cash for it. Brent Cook giving us a final score of 4-3. Take it away for us here, Gokster, Senators, Blues.
Yeah, this Drew Bannister, I don't really know who he is. Not a big name here in the old Belleville. I think I actually went to school with his daughter, maybe Kayla. I don't really know who this Drew Bannister is, to be honest, Jim. His numbers with Springfield are great. He played a lot. He had a good career in the NHL as well. In this game, I think this is going to be an over game, Jim, to say the least. So I don't mind your -1 because I think there's going to be a lot of goals. The Senators, they got a back-to-back, like you said, six road games. That's insane, guys. They've only had 6 road games, and we're already December 14th. The season started October the 10th. That's wild. So I think that's kind of what they need, to be honest. This Ottawa team's been just so disappointing. They got their asses kicked too against Carolina. I think they're going to come back with a strong effort here. I don't know if they're going to be able to win. I think it's just going to be a goal fest though here, Jim. I'm taking I could maybe get some better odds here, but I'm just going to go first period over 1.5 and then full game over 5.5. Tie those together, guys. Same game parlay -105. I think first period too, Ottawa's 5-1 on the road, and then St. Louis at home, they're 8-4 in the first period. So new coach too. Binnington's looked okay, and then Korpisalo, he's been very Jekyll and Hyde.
You think he's just looked okay?
Who, Binnington or Corpy?
Yeah, Binnington.
No, Binnington's looked good. Sorry, no, Korpisalo, he's been very up and down. He has not been nearly as good as what they've needed. Binnington's been fine. He's actually had, I think, a better year than the past, but I just don't know why this team's not better, to be honest. The penalty kills for both these teams, Jim, are below 80%. Ottawa's small sample size, 60% on the road. I don't see how there's not just back and forth goals here, especially Stützle. I look for Stützle to probably get a point here. He hasn't scored in a while. I think he's got a good opportunity on the road here to score. So maybe a player prop. Not going to play it, but just another look.
I love Raw Dog calling out Caleb Bannister here on Pub Sports Radio. Oh, Raw Dog.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Calgary Flames at the Minnesota Wild, and Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford has come in and delivered the spreadsheet play of the day. It is on the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild -1. Shout out to our guy, Ron Crawford. Let's roll. Great job, DC Capper, as always, getting that cash. I love seeing that, DC. We're at Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Dustin Wolf, I have listed. We know that Markstrom's out right now. 1-2-1, 3.46 goals against average, 893 save percentage. He's expected to be the starting goaltender as they move forward as a franchise, and that won't happen necessarily this year. Mm-hmm. He's been very good in the AHL. Philip Gustafson has not followed up that excellent season from last year. 6-7-2, 3.05 goals against average, 900 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Must be looking at Talbot's numbers and thinking, wow, what just so many questions.
Same with Ottawa. Ottawa got rid of him too.
Calgary power play 11.4%, penalty killing 82.4%. Minnesota power play 17.8%, penalty killing 71.7%. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Minnesota sitting at -146. We've lost Gokster. The Bannisters, I think, have taken over here. Opening up -141, a 5-cent move to -146. Don't you talk about my daughter. And from a total side of things here, we have a 6. Now it's moved to 6. It was a 6.5. 6.5 and moved to 6. Oh, it's back 6.5. Sorry, back 6.5. I had to pick them. Let's refresh this one as well. Okay, so that's the situation here. Flames coming off their third straight loss, 5-4 in overtime in Vegas on Tuesday night. This is their third game in 4 nights. Flames' third game in 4 nights. It's the Leafs' third game in 4 nights. We'll talk about those situations. Chris Tanev out and Markstrom out. The Wild bookended their 4-game road trip with wins. They come in. Oh, I thought they did book in that. So they come in off the 3-0 win at Seattle on Sunday. Thank you. I said wrote loss there. Jonas Brodin is out for the Wild. And if I had a free bet, I would move on the Wild. I think this is tricky for the Flames, leaving Vegas on a Tuesday. Maybe it's just the right play. Maybe it is. I find it difficult to trust the Wild. I think that new coach bump is over, and I guess I think I have enough spots that I really like and don't need to add this. But what do you think, Oakster? Take it away, Flames Wild.
This is a tough one. I'm going to lay off this one just to let you guys know now. I'm not going to be playing this game, but Calgary, just looking at the schedule, they played, it's Vegas, Colorado, New Jersey, Carolina, and then the loss to Minnesota December 5th. So they played playoff hockey, really tough teams. Looking at Minnesota, okay, Seattle, you won 3-0. You lost to Edmonton. You lost to Vancouver. Then you beat Calgary, beat Chicago, Nashville, St. Louis. Competition's been pretty easy for Minnesota, to be honest, Jim. So I don't want to take Minnesota. I feel weird about this one. I don't know who's going to be in net too. Is it Vladar or Wolf? I don't know confirmation yet. I saw Vladar there, Jim. So I don't know who's going to be in net. Minnesota, they've been playing really well, especially defensively. I'm going to lay off this game. I don't really have a good feel. I kind of lean to the under here. I think this is just the way Minnesota's been playing, pretty strong under team. But then you look at Calgary, they got 5 against Colorado, Jim, 4 against Vegas, 2 against Jersey. They've been scoring. They just can't stop teams like Vegas, Colorado, and New Jersey. But now you got Minnesota, who has been playing well, but they're not nearly as offensive as those teams. So I'm going to just lay off it. Nothing here, guys.
Nothing for me, but I'm all over the next game. 9 p.m. Eastern, Tampa Bay Lightning 13-12-5, 5-9-2 on the road. Edmonton Oilers 13-12-1, 9-4-1 at home. Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. When this homestand started, I told you that they would sweep the homestand. They've won 8 straight now. They've won the first 4 games of this homestand. And I said the only concern would be when the Lightning and Panthers play. But the Lightning concern now, Hedman is day-to-day with the upper body injury. And I tried to get the information. I can't. Maybe he plays tonight, but I don't expect him to. And the Lightning without Hedman are, I mean, you could
They're
go as far
headless.
as nice, beautifully put. I don't even need to add to it. So Hedman out, and let's just talk about what has happened to Sergachev this year. He's a minus 15.
He's on my fucking fantasy too, Jamie. Sucks.
And then Darren Radish is a minus 12. And these are the defensemen that are getting the most ice time, other than, of course, Hedman. Sergachev getting 23-30. Radish getting 18-32. I mean, Cernak getting 19-21. I guess Cernak's been playing pretty well. He did have some injury issues early in the year, but this is a real problem for them. And the Oilers coming off their 8th straight win, 4-1 at home over Chicago on Tuesday. This is just a bet on hockey team right now. 28.1% power play. Remember when their power play is at 23%, and I said, well, it's going to end up at 35%. Yeah. So we know we're going to get an advantage from this moment now, until the rest of the season. If you're only focusing on their team total overs, which I'm not, the bounce from Knobloch is continued here. And this was a really easy situation for me to move on the Oilers. And I got a great line at Pinnacle, better than at 365. So much better. I got -1 at -107 at Pinnacle. So I'm on the Oilers here, and Stuart Skinner's numbers are starting to improve. The penalty killing. I mean, if this Edmonton Oilers team, and I know it's crazy to say, it could be better than they were last year. Last year, their penalty killing was so atrocious, and it kind of took away a little bit from how great their power play's been. Maybe Knobloch's able to put together a system so that the Oilers have a good enough penalty kill, and that they're going to be buyers at the deadline. All said and done, I'm on the Oilers -1 with confidence here. Take it away, Ghoster.
Yeah, I'm going to lay off this game. I guess it's just my recency bias, I guess, with Edmonton. I find, Jim, they're just such a hot and cold team. They are playing really well right now. It's just, I'm like the makeup for this Tampa Bay team defensively. Yeah, they're a little wish-washy, and Vasilevsky's been not the greatest. I'm just going Vasilevsky up against Skinner. I'm just a little nervous about this play. I'm not going to take Edmonton as much as it makes sense for them to win here. I wouldn't be surprised really if just Tampa Bay fight this Edmonton right to the end here. Vasilevsky, he could have a really good game here, and if Vasilevsky does have a good game, it's just like Toronto. They'll beat up this Edmonton team like they do to Toronto. They'll just make it tough for them to get anywhere on the ice. But no Hedman is huge. It is huge because his stick work is just unbelievable. How he works the puck, everything. So I'm gonna lay off this game, but. Rooting on the Oilers with you, Jim.
And Londo liking Oilers early in the first period. That is where I'm nervous. Is early, just because of how bad they looked against Vancouver. You have to think there's a bit of a bounce to start the game. But let's roll on. Next up for us, 10 p.m. Eastern, Florida Panthers 17-9-2, 8-5-2 on the road at the Vancouver Canucks 19-9-1, 11-3-1 at home. We're at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. We have NFL next. We have one more game, Blackhawks Kraken. I'd like to add in that game, but we have one game left, or two games now, and then we have NFL, and then Dabby Cab comes in. Dabby Cab starts with his standalone spot for him in college basketball. He's got one bet in college basketball. Then we move into college football. Then Dave Rogers joins us. We're going to stay in college football for a little bit. And then he has got 3 bets that he's moving on in college basketball. So then, of course, we have It's Drill for NBA, and we're running just dumb hot in NBA. So a lot coming up here. 10 p.m. Eastern, Panthers, Knuckleheads, Bobrovsky, Demko. Bobrovsky, 13-7-1, 2.45 goals against average, 9-11 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Demko, 14-7-0, 2.42 goals against average, 9-18 save percentage, 2 shutouts. And then, Londo on Vancouver. And Londo, you'll know, and look, what am I to say if I'm down 3 units on the year in NHL right now? And you'll know how you're doing, by tracking your own action. But for me, in my history in NHL, I would not, and this is the same with your look there in the Oilers Lightning. And this is just, we're just trying to help each other, take each other to the next level. You're fading 2 teams that are coming off looking horrible. I mean, the Panthers were shut out against the Kraken on Tuesday.
Yeah, it took
and that's not a spot. Now, look, I'm not betting the Panthers here, but maybe they're not.
That's where I was looking, Jim. That's where I was looking, was more Panthers than Canucks.
Well, with Paul Maurice, we know what he's like after a team no shows.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unacceptable. And Kachuk not playing at the level he's playing now. They get to be in Vancouver for a game that's sold out. So, but But I'm not sitting here on the Canucks, but I do expect the Panthers to come out flying in the first period. Florida power play 18.2%. Those numbers are getting better, now that they're healthier on defense with Montour and Ekblad. And then 81.5% penalty killing. They've always been good there. Vancouver power play 26.5%, penalty killing 75.8%. So let's take a look at the line history here. The Canucks still missing Pia Suter and Carson Soucy. Let's take a look at the line history here. The total right now is sitting at 6. It's juiced to the over. This got up to 6.5 for a while, but it's back at 6. And then from a spread perspective here, the Panthers are at minus 120. There's been a huge move towards them, a 14-cent move. A big move against a team that just got shut out. God, wonder if I should add them. Why don't you take it away here, Panthers Knuckleheads?
Yeah, the healthy team in Florida, guys, 90% penalty kill too now in the last 3 weeks. Bobrovsky, his numbers, guys, look at this. He's 5-4-1, but he's got a 2.2 goals against, 1.82 goals against on the road. The other number was the last 3 weeks. On the other end there, looking at Demko, he's just been a strong. I kind of want to take the under. I kind of lean to the under. Jim, what do you think of Vancouver defensively? How do you think they look defensively? Are they going to be able to hold their own here? Or
Carson Soucy was the defensive, stay-at-home kind of a guy that we were searching for in the offseason. When you look at the Canucks defense, Hronek and Hughes are so good offensively. I mean, you want to keep the other team sort of defending. Because when we start defending, and if you see a Tyler Myers sighting, we're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So
I think Florida is going to make it tough for the defense on Vancouver to score offense, kind of like they usually do here, compared to bad comparison with the Devils. But no, I think Florida. I do lean towards Florida here, coming off that 4-0 loss too, Jim. Looking at Vancouver, they're the old term I like to use, fat and happy here, 2-0, 4-3, 4-1. Coming off some, they've been scoring. They come back against Carolina. You know what? I'm going to take Florida. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull the trigger here. If they bite me in the ass, they might be on my axe list here for a while because I took them on Tuesday, Jim, with Peter there, and I lost that one. But I'm going to take Florida, guys, money line, and I'm even going to take. Actually, I'm just going to stick with the money line, Jim. Minus 117. I'm thinking, is that the best line available? Whatever the best line. If anyone in the chat there can get the best line for Florida, appreciate it. I'm seeing 115 at Caesars, so I'll take that. I'll take Florida here. I think they're going to get this one done.
See, I'd love to hear Londo's plan on the Nucks first period because this is also the final game of the homestand, which I don't always feel like if it's going well, I don't feel like teams are so sharp.
They were playing really well though, Florida, and then they just kind of had that hiccup against Seattle. So I think 5-2 against Columbus, 3-1 against Pittsburgh, 5-4 against Dallas, and then 4-0 against Seattle. And it's been a small, short home road trip for them, only against Columbus, Seattle, and now against Vancouver. They're going to put a good foot forward here. I would be surprised if Florida doesn't.
And Londo's saying all the money is on Florida. He's right. I don't usually look at NHL, but we're only talking about 2,000 tickets. But yeah, what could be happening, Londo, with your plan, just to give you some, faith in your spot, is that, Cappers could just be simplifying everything. Panthers just got shut out. They're playing good hockey. They got shut out. Paul Maurice is an intense guy, and he's going to be very unhappy.
One thing I want to bring up from Brent Cook too, Jimmy, is he said Bob allowed 5. That was without Ekblad and Montour. Now that was October 21st. There they lost 5-3. They got those 2 defensemen back, Brent. I think that's huge for this team. Looking at what they did before, they beat Florida 1-4-3, 5-1, 2-1, 5-2. So Florida's also 4 and 5. They've won 4 of the last 5 against Vancouver, just that one game this year. And then they didn't have their top 2 defensemen, so they got them back. I like Florida.
RVD says, what do you think about first period puck line with Florida? I do not like first period puck lines.
I take the shot. I really do. I think Florida. I don't like betting on Florida. You kind of know I was not chirping, but had a bit of slander. That's kind of my worst take ever against Matthew Tkachuk, one of the best players in the league. I think Florida's going to make it tough for Vancouver tonight. I do.
Just now, that's me, RVD. That's just me. For me, I want the push and play. I really do. I've got a quantity of action here always, and so I want the push and play. That all depends on how you handle things. You know, if you're making less bets on the day, or you know, if your unit size is at a point like my unit size is a little too high for my bankroll right now, and that's why I need to build the bankroll so badly. But yeah, I like Panthers early. I mean, I just don't see how they don't come fired up.
Yeah, I think they win this game. I do.
Okay, I've got to decide. I do not want to double up on them.
They got all their guys in the lineup too. Like Florida's, yeah. This team's, and they got Bobrovsky playing really well. Yeah, I think we've said enough about this game.
Let's roll on to the next ball on the board. 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Blackhawks 9-18-1, 4-11-0 on the road at Seattle Kraken here. What did you move on? Sorry, did you move on something? Or still
Florida minus 115. Yeah,
my bad. Sorry, Ghoster. I didn't write that in. Ghoster. Panthers minus 115 for Ghoster. All right, 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Blackhawks at Seattle Kraken. Blackhawks 9-18-1. 4-11-0 on the road. Kraken 9-14-7, 5-8-2 at home. Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. We heard from Matty Ice saying that the Kraken are bet on now. I don't know, if I believe that, but I do want to bet them badly here. And I actually, I thought that I was going to, and I guess, I don't know. I guess I was just scared off by how big of a favorite they are. And, the line opened up minus. Sorry, say what, man?
I was just going to say, if they lay an egg after that 4-0 win against Florida, that's kind of feels like that's the win they needed after losing it like 8 in a row. I'm looking at here, Jim. So
yeah. 8 in a row. They opened up minus 229. They're now minus 244. I think that's just too expensive.
It is.
I would have to take them on the puck line, and I don't think I want to. Justin Schultz is day to day with an upper body injury as well. The Burakovsky and Jaden Schwartz remain out for the I think Jaden Schwartz still is blue for the Kraken, but Burakovsky could be back tonight. Grubauer also out. Maybe it's good that I've kept this off here. It's just they're just too big of a favorite. I mean, I just don't. But I think that they take care of business. But then I think that the Blackhawks are a bad hockey team, and they are not a great fade. They're huge underdogs in every game. I mean, I don't. I don't know.
The books are really fading. Yeah, minus 500. I saw Edmonton was on last night or Tuesday there. So yeah, they're fading the Chicago team hard, the books.
Minus 1.5 at plus 105 after the shutout victory. I mean, I kind of like it, but I guess not enough. I'll leave this question mark. Is there anything you want for this one?
Yeah, I am going to fire on this one, guys. I don't think Chicago, I was saying on the show Tuesday, Jim, only Bedard's the only guy that's double-digit scoring on this team on the road. Everyone else is like, they're getting 6 points max. So I maybe take Bedard to get another point, but I'm taking Chicago team total under 2.5, and I'm tying that in with the Seattle money line. That's coming out to minus 120. Decord's going to be in net too. Joey played in Belleville a little bit a couple years ago. 893 save percentage, but he's got a 2.72 goals against. So he's not allowing many goals. There's just Kraken haven't been scoring lately. Coming off that nice 4-0 win, you got Mrazek, who's been really poor lately, especially on the road. I'll take Seattle going up against Chicago here, and the Chicago team total under, guys, 2.5 minus 120.
I could move on them on the puck line. I mean, after a 4-0 win at home over Florida, is that really where you want them? But maybe they know it's not like they're going to come in relaxed. I mean, they're 9-14-7.
I don't want to take the puck line, Jim, because I'm literally, on the show, I'm like 1 in 150 taking puck lines. I swear to God, I lose all my puck lines. So I don't want to take the puck line for anyone taking Seattle tonight. If you guys noticed on the shows, Jim, I never give out puck lines anymore because like the amount of 1-goal wins and I've lost are insane. So the way I'm going to cap this, I guess, guys, is just the fact Blackhawks can't score and Seattle should be able to roll after that 4-0 win.
Should be able to. Okay, well, let's review all action and we'll get into NFL next. So I'm on the Blue Jackets first period of plus 170. Goksters on the first period, both teams to score in Columbus, Toronto. Then Goksters on the full game under 5.5 in the first period, under 1.5 in Washington, Philadelphia. I think that's a great, the right look. I wish it was a 6, but it's a 5.5 for a reason. Mm-hmm. Then Goksters on Carolina, team total over 2.5. Carolina money line, and the team total over 2.5. And I'm on Carolina -1 at -106. I'm on the Blues -1 at +175. Market's going against us in this one. It's shocking that mark, but it'll be fun to see how this plays out with the new
Should be
coach.
a lot of goals, I think, there.
Gokster, first period over 1.5. What did you get on? Oh, you tied. Sorry, first period over 1.5. Full game over 5.5 is
-105.
Yeah, parlay together. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's Wild -1. We're both off that game. I'm on the Oilers -1 at -107. You stayed off Lightning Edmonton.
Yeah, I'm off that one.
Then Gokster's on the Panthers -115. Huh. I guess the Panthers first period should be the look. It should be the look. So I guess I'm.
I feel like Peter would have. I feel like Pete would take Florida money first period just based on our cap right there.
Yeah, I mean, just based on the Maurice shutout in Seattle. I mean, and I think that's the reason why it's getting hammered. I mean, that's just an angle that cappers use over and over again in hockey. And then I think I maybe take the Kraken on the puck line now after sitting with it a little longer. That huge favor. The Kraken is this big of a favorite when they've won 5 games in regulation at home out of 15. And that's also the fear.
Seth Jones is now out too, right? Jones, Tenorti, day-to-day, Hall, Athanasiou, Blackwell. Yeah, this is the worst team. I thought San Jose was the worst team, but no, Chicago is the worst team.
Yeah, Chicago's the worst team. All right. There, we expect Joey Decord in net for Seattle. We all expect them as maybe to stay even when Grubauer comes back. All right, let's move on to NFL. We have a lot to talk about in NFL. This is a very, very interesting football game here.
This is an ugly one.
Chargers 5-8, 3-3 on the road. Las Vegas Raiders 5-8, 4-3 at home at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. We've already heard from BJ, who's such a monster, that Raiders money line is his 5-unit bet tonight, and he's just rolling. I mean, his 5-unit bets are just they're must know. You have certain bets on the show that you must know, and we must know what BJ's action is.
Gotta get him on the show.
Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, it works, but I'd be down for sure. Let's get into the line history here for this one. And the line history has been very, very interesting. And it's been telling me all week that the Chargers are live with Easton Stick. And I feel like I have to bet it if I'm going to do this breakdown. But the Chargers open up at +3 at -110. They get that +3 gets juiced and juiced until it moves to 2.5 last night. Moved to 2.5, and that didn't last. It came back to 3. Right now at 3, it's -108 to Las Vegas. When we have Troy Torrance's, burgeoning database and building the database, he wants to see this as a pick'em at 3. But I think the fact that it isn't going there or hasn't gone there is showing you that no, look, obviously the fact that it moved to 2.5, I think, is all the information that we need. Now it's back at 3. And like when Londo going over the cash flow for NHL, it's one thing when we look at 2,089 tickets in on a Panthers Canucks NHL game. But in NFL here, we are talking right now about 67,333 tickets.
The Holy Grail.
And we're going to have 300,000 tickets here, by the end, within 5 hours, 6 hours. 41% of the tickets are on the Raiders and 83% of the cash. Big bets are coming in on the Raiders. So why would it have gone to 2.5?
And Coin's saying Las Vegas moved to 3.5 at circa. So maybe some late money starting to come in on the Raiders. And then Easton Stick. What, like, where did this guy? The parents watch a lot of hockey, or they just had a lot of hockey sticks laying around? Like Easton Stick, you can't make that up. That's unbelievable. But that's going to be the starting quarterback for the Chargers.
It really moved to 3.5 at circa.
And since I know that is crazy, but like without Al, I don't know how the hell this Charger team, Jimmy's gonna move the ball. Like, I didn't watch a lot of that game with Easton Stick, but I know Allen accounted for like a huge chunk of their catches, right? So
I'll explain how I think that in Sean on over a half touchdown and over 188 passers. I'll explain why I think Easton Stick will be able to look good here. So Aiden O'Connell, we expect by all accounts, is starting. The question is, if they're terrible at halftime, do they bring in, do they decide to bring in Jimmy G? I mean, that's a very, very important part of this puzzle here. Let's go over the total and the cash flow as well here for this one. So that's this. I'm shocked that circa. Oh, we see a minus 112. Wow, you see a minus 115 of Bodog now. So that is.
I'm starting to move.
That is interesting. At Pinnacle, there's been no movement since it got back to 3. God, 3.5. That's absolutely wild. I can't even. Well, I'm gonna wait on this. I'm gonna sit with this, all day and watch the market before I decide here. And then I do have a bit of a, I know that Jimmy G's been so bad this year, but I have a slight fear of him coming in at halftime, which makes me want to move on the Chargers first half and full game if I move on them. And it's, scary going up against BJ, obviously. This first half opened with the Raiders minus 1.5, minus 106. They're now minus 1.5, minus 115. From a total standpoint here, sorry, I'm on first half still. From a full game total standpoint, we're sitting with a 34.5. Open at 34.5, drop down to 33.5, and it's back at 34.5. So we have no movement at all on the total at this point, and you have 75% tickets and 83% cash on the under. I mean, it smells like a gambler's first glance over spot. This is very similar to what the Packers Giants over ideology was here. So let's talk. So the Chargers coming off that ugly, costly 24-7 home loss. They lose Herbert. Herbert was running for his life. The offensive line looked terrible, and now Easton Stick is in. So this is what we've seen from these older quarterbacks, and Stick's 27 years old, is that second game that they're in, that first full start, and even the start after that, they get better. They improve. They're older guys. They just need a little bit of time, and he was getting all the number one reps with the starters all week. Mm-hmm. He was 49-3 at North Dakota State. All-time passing leader at North Dakota State with 8,693 yards. All-time passing touchdown leader with 88. 4 FCS national title teams with the Bison. 2 as the starter. School record for most touchdowns and rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So passing touchdowns and then rushing touchdowns by a quarterback and rushing yards by a quarterback. And he's been with the Bolts for 5 years. He re-signed with them in the offseason. He had thrown 1 pass in the regular season in NFL before last Sunday. And he was 13-24 for 179 yards. But notice no interceptions. I think he's going to be a smart, clean quarterback here. Now, he did lose a fumble, and he fumbled twice. I mean, that's a problem, obviously. But he's also played in 13 preseason games since 2019. And in those 13 games, he's completing 62% of his passes. He has 4 touchdowns. He's run for 199 yards and 5 touchdowns. And Quentin Johnston, who's been so bad this year, caught 3 passes, for 91 yards. So he kind of has a connect with Easton Stick. So with all that being said, I would rather at quarterback in this football game have Easton Stick than Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell, his little boost is over. He's now seeing ghosts. He knows he's about to be pulled. I mean, that's really uncomfortable for a rookie. And statistically speaking, I know that the Chargers have been so bad, but the Raiders are not a good football team. 27th in the league in third down, 28th in the league in red zone offense. I don't think that Jimmy G changes that much, but I do think after watching futility, especially in that Vikings game, that he'll be ready to go. Defensively, this team's 25th in red zone defense or 26th in third down defense. There's nowhere good. Also, they lose their team captain and left tackle on the offensive line, Colton Miller. So, he also missed weeks 10, 11. He's hurt right now. Even if he tries to play, I mean, they're certainly not going to play him for 100, 80+% of the snaps. So they're already down a starter on their offensive line. And I think if I'm going to say all this bullshit, I can't just say it all and say, I'm not betting it. I feel like I have to bet it. I have to bet it. If I feel this way, I have to bet it, or this is just a bullshit segment.
I'll bet
so it. I God, why don't we hear your breakdown before I say I'm going to bet it? Take it away here for us, Gokster. The Raiders at home to the Chargers.
This is the worst game I can remember, Jim, for Thursday night football in a long, long time. Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell. Yeehaw. Easton Stick, to your coming out of North Dakota. Only North Dakota quarterback I can remember too is Carson Wentz. So I guess he broke all those records from Carson Wentz. In this game, guys, this is a really tough one. But where I'm going to go here is I think you're going to have to look at the top players here. Without Allen. All right, you got Everett, but I think Eckler. I know he's been a little banged up. He hasn't looked the greatest in the last few weeks, but they got to use Eckler. They use him to the screen passes, running the ball, whatever it needs to do. This whole game's going to, I think, revolve around Eckler for the Chargers. So, how I want to play this, I don't know, Jim. I'm either thinking anytime touchdown, kind of with their guy Philly Flyer, plus 160, or Eckler over 82.5 rushing and receiving yards, minus 115. What do you think? How do you think Eckler is going to be used in this game, Jim?
Well, I know that everybody wants Eckler with Keenan Allen, out with the heel injury. But let's look at it from that angle here before you lock in on Eckler, which I do completely understand. You take the quarterback away from the Chargers and the line comes out as a 3. Then you take, their superstar wide receiver out of this game. And this line is not moving. Now, we've heard that there's a 3.5 at Circa. But how on earth, with Keenan Allen out with this heel injury, the Easton Stick, how is this not moving towards the Raiders clearly here? It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. It makes me think that the public is going to get murked. Now, the public tickets, though, are on the Chargers. And I don't even know how that is possible. All of this confounds me, man. I'm just sitting here. I just can't comprehend. So back to your Eckler spot with Keenan Allen out. It makes perfect sense. But I don't know if I would focus on the running as part of the attack because they're going to dare Easton Stick to throw the ball. They're going to load up the box. They're going to dare him to throw the ball. And they're going to kind of go into this. I imagine Antonio Pierce would go into this saying, Easton Stick can't beat us.
Exactly. So, yeah, I agree.
So I think I would focus on his passing yards. And we had one of Troy's friends, Joe Yuko, give us the receiving yards over for Eckler at 26.5. It's now at 29.5. And we've seen LJ move on at 29.5. Troy says database says if Pinnacle doesn't move to 3.5, it's a hammer. I agree, and I agree. Take it away though here for us, Gokster. What is your plan for?
That's Eckler? All I needed. That's all I needed, Jim. I'm going to take the over receiving yards 29.5. I know it's not as good. The numbers it's went up, but I think it's for good reason. Good court case there. I agree with the defendant here, and I am taking over 29.5. What's the best number? I'm seeing minus 119 on Pinnacle, so even Pinnacle is starting to juice it.
Yeah,
I'll take 119 or whatever the best number. Anyone in the chat there, I'll take Eckler over. I do agree with your defensive take there on the Raiders, how they're going to stack the box, make them beat you, Easton Stick. And then the other angle I'm going to look at here, guys, I'll take the over on Eckler receiving over 29.5. And then I'm going to take, this is a bit of a long shot here, not a long shot, but a plus 500 look for you guys. Jimmy, I'm taking both teams to score one field goal in each half. I think that can happen. And I'm just trying to find the number for both teams to score over 3.5. Even over 2.5 was like minus 180. Over 3.5 was like minus 105. So if we get each team gets a field goal early in each half, the books kind of think that's going to happen. I'm getting plus 500. I think that number should be a lot lower, to be honest. So I'm going to take a shot with that one, guys. Both teams will score one field goal in each half, plus 500. In a total this low, I think that's live.
That's an interesting look. Field goal each half. That'll be fun to follow along here for this one. DC Capper on the Chargers team total under 16.5. Robert Franklin on Eckler, 5 or more receptions. And Robert Franklin also on Quentin Johnson over 29.5 receiving yards. LJ on that Austin Eckler over. Gold.
Another one, Jimmy, sorry, Gerald Everett. He's been, I was going to take, he said 5 or set, 5-4-4. I know you got Easton in, but this guy's been targeted quite a bit. And with the third string or second string quarterback here, I think they're not like you said, they're going to want to try and beat him deep. But I don't know this quarterback as well, I guess, to say this, but I just think with a quarterback like this, you want to make it easy for him. Use the screen passes, use the tight ends. And then when, you have a chance, go deep. But just something I wanted to bring up there, guys. I do think Everett's going to do well. His number was 29.5 as well. But I'll take Eckler. I'll take the Eckler look.
I'm going to be on the Chargers first half and full game, but I'm going to wait. Because if this does move to 3.5 or 4, then I'll be okay. Look, there's people who've come in on the other side that I really respect. And look, I respect BJ being on the other side. Jay Peasy's on the over 34.5. Woo Rizza leaning to the over. Christopher Comentini leaning to the over. Wagner's on the Chargers plus 9.5 and under 40.5. Teaser at minus 124. And that's that. There we go.
Birthday pick. Quick birthday pick. I'm going to give a birthday pick. I know I don't usually do this, but I feel like it's right for me to do this.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to give out Florida Panthers on the money line, minus 117. I feel strong conviction on this one. Let's get this one home. A nice one, minus 117 for you there, Abel.
Abel Alvarez. What a guy is. We love him. Happy birthday. 50 years old today. 50 years old is our guy, Abel. I love it. Respect. 50 years, man. Love capping with you. Birthday pick, 50th birthday. And the birthday pick from Gogster is the Panthers money line.
Bounce back.
Jesus. Just going over what I got. I'm going to have some heavy NHL action tonight. I would say that my birthday pick would be the it's tough.
Carolina.
Yeah, I think it would be Carolina. The Red Wings feeling good about, that first game they played this year without Dylan Larkin was in New York, Madison Square Garden, and I had their team total under 2.5. I also had the Rangers minus 1. Mm-hmm. It was 1-0 Rangers until late in the second period. That was with Confer. Confer is a really important defensive forward. He's so accountable. He was the first line centerman in that game. The Red Wings scored 2 goals. One was a power play. Moritz Seider was kind of fading across the blue line and shot backwards. It was a beautiful play by him. It wasn't set up nice or anything like that. And the other was they scored 15 seconds later with like a kind of a fluky bounce, came right to Fabry, and he fired it in. But they had no scoring chances in the hockey game. None. Yeah. Those 2 plays were just kind of, what can you do? The Rangers came back and won 3-2. That was the first time without Larkin. They're coming off scoring 6 goals without him.
Let's see him do it again, eh?
I don't know. So I think that Carolina, but I do think for risk reward that the St. Louis Blues on minus 1 at plus 175 is probably the best, my most appealing bet on the board.
So, the coach angles, it's hitting at a high rate. So I agree there. Nice plus number.
Gogster, excellent work. Let's get that cash. We are not doing enough for our friends and colleagues in the chat. We're not doing enough. We need to be better. You're good. You're doing good. 43 and 53, average line plus 119. You're down 2.75 units. We got to get to the black. And the same goes with me. I'm 35 and 42. My average line's plus 109. I'm down 3.24 units. It's not good enough.
Here comes the turnaround, Jim. Here comes the turnaround, man. I got a good feeling on tonight. I'm going to cut back my picks there, guys. Not going to try and give out these double digit picks. Trying to keep it to 5-6. I think I'm at 7 today, so But yeah, let's move this. Let's win some more for you guys. That's what it's all about. Anytime TD prop from Stano, I would lean towards Eckler there. But I think this is more of a field goal. I got a field goal prop for you there, Stano. First, both teams to score a field goal in each half at plus 500. So nice little sprinkle for the game. Jimmy, thanks a lot, brother, for having me on. As always, look forward to it, buddy. We'll talk about the trip coming up soon, Pubapalooza. Can't wait for that. And yeah, there it is, 22nd to 24th, guys. It's going to be lit. College basketball, everything in between. I'm going to try and get out golfing too. So everyone wants to go golf and hit me up. And yeah, we'll see you guys then.
I love it. There he is, Mr. Gokster in the house. All right, we switch from NFL over to college basketball, and we bring in our college basketball expert here, and he's gotten off to a great start this year, 15-9, hitting at 62.5%, plus 5.38 units ROI, plus 22.42% average line, minus 110. And with the help of Dabby Cap, Mikey M, and Dave Rogers, I have cashed 9 straight college basketball bets. Let's welcome on. Please welcome the star of Medicate Mondays, the star of All About the Hoops, our new live bet stream basketball show on Wednesday nights, and the star of our Saturday college basketball live stream at 11:45 a.m. Eastern, right after the Jeff Nadu show here on Saturdays. Please welcome Mr. Dabby Cap to the show. Dabby, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good after last night, Jimmy. You know, All About the Hoops. It was our first show last night. And shout out to the chat because they were firing away with live action. Our guy, Sweaty Butcher, got me on the Bucks first half. We cashed that when they were down. The CJ McCollum prop we cashed. We made money last night. Anytime we do that, it's a good day.
Without a doubt. I love hearing that. Excellent work. There it is, All About the Hoops every Wednesday night, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Let's get my information on the markets all set up so we are ready to rock.
We had a crew here last night, Jimmy. We had LJ. He was in there cashing. We had Troutwam with us. He was cashing. We had Billy show up for the show with us. He was cashing. Obviously Dutch because he hosts it with me. And those guys said they're going to try and be there with us every week as much as they can. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Oh, it's a great addition to the channel. I love it. I love it. Let's get to work. You have one spot on the board in college basketball today, so let's get after it. 7 p.m. Eastern, Furman Paladins, 5-5, 0-3 on the road at Tulane Green Wave, 6-2, 4-0. We're at the Devlin Fieldhouse in New Orleans, Louisiana, where Sun Dizzle will be this weekend for the football game. Let's take a look at the situation here. Pinnacle is not out as early as Bet Online. So we're going to use Bet Online market moves, and shout out to Bet Online. Our poker tournament, December 29th, it's going to be ready to enter here in a second. And we have changed the rules a little bit here. And I can tell you them right now. We have, first off, so let me pull this up here. It's a $50 buy-in, $50 buy-in here. And we have, God, where is it here? Sorry. There we go. $50 buy-in. You're going to start with 150 big blinds. They're going to give us a break every hour, not every hour and a half, break every hour. And late registration is going to go on for a full hour, not 30 minutes like we did last time. And then there's unlimited rebuys for the first 4 levels. So you can rebuy until that first break. And then at the break, there's going to be a $25 add-on, 2,000 chips. So the first hour is going to be wild. Then you have the break, and then we come back, and then it's on. So that is Friday night, December 29th. We're going to be talking all about that poker game. And as soon as we can enter, we're going to want people to enter while, we want to see people listed so we can be excited about who's going to be in the tournament and all that. So there we go. Okay, let's get to this one here. We have Furman Tulane sitting here at, and also with Bet Online, quickly, if you don't have an account, go to our website, pubsportsradio.com, and hit our link to Bet Online deal. Open up a brand new account. They'll give you 100% bonus up to $1,000. But the big thing about that is if you have a sports bonus that's not rolled over, you can't move that money into the poker account. That's hugely important. So if you want to come in only to be in the poker tournament, then you can't accept that bonus. Now, another thing you can do is get the new account now, and then you'll have enough time to roll that over before the 29th. But important news. Okay, here at Bet Online, this opened up at 6, and the first move was to 5. The first move was towards Furman. Now we're at 7, so it's moved 1 point in Tulane's direction. Let's get over to the total in this one. Tulane Furman. This one pops off at 7 p.m. We have the total at Bet Online right now sitting at 173.5. 173.5. This opened up at 174.5, and it dropped all the way down to 171. It was at 171 2 hours and 9 minutes ago, and then it's climbed back to 173.5. But we do have a point move to the under still, and we have a move towards Tulane still. So let's take a look at the cash flow then here for this one. We have 51% of the tickets and 74% of the cash is on Furman, but we know that it's moved back towards Tulane. And from a total perspective, you have 23% of the tickets and 78% of cash on the under. So they moved it down to 171, and then the Sharps came in and hammered it to the over. So a tricky situation here for us. Setting a quick table here, Furman lost 2 straight. They lost 2 straight, a very close loss to Princeton, and then they lose by 14 to Arkansas. Then they get a gift in the Bob Jones Bruins. Who the hell are the Bob Jones Bruins? You'll have to do your research on your own, but they do not play in Div 1 basketball, the Bob Jones Bruins. So that's who they just played. Furman beat them 100-58. On the other side of things for Tulane, their 3-game winning streak came to a loss in pretty ugly fashion. They went to Mississippi State and got beaten up badly. They were only 6.5-point dogs. They lose 106-76. They were down 62-34 in the first half. I see that the big bets are on, Furman at this point, but you have to think that situationally, Furman coming off a real easy game against Bob Jones Bruins, and Tulane just got their asses kicked, their shit pushed in against the Mississippi State Bulldogs and got destroyed in the first half. You have to think that Tulane will be ready to go early, wouldn't you? Let's hear. Oh, and I'm that Heat says best of Bet Online has 100% poker bonus also. Poker 1000 is a bonus code. Oh, that's dope. So if you open up a new account with Poker 1000, that's dope. Thank you for that. I'm that Heat. That's really important because then you don't need to. But then you can't switch that money until it's rolled over. You can't switch that money into the sport. So that's really important. But thank you. I'm that Heat. That's great stuff. Take it away for us here, Cabby. Your only game on the board here. Let's get paid on it. Furman, Tulane.
Yeah, and I'll say this, next week and the week after, these games, as soon as conference picks up on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we're going to have great college basketball games. Yesterday and today, they kind of sucked a little bit, but they will pick up. Jimmy, when I texted you this last night, I got in at 5.5, and I didn't tweet it out. And, for transparency purposes and for the show, we're not going to give out a stale number that people can't bet. But I'm caught in a rock and a hard place right now because, like I said, I got that 5.5 last night. What I think I might do is double down. You said it. I might take that first half because I don't want to take it's actually 7.5 most places now. And I don't want to take a 7.5. Tulane, they had a good start to the season. They got a 6-2 record right now. You touched on some of their previous games, especially their last loss. But they've been a very potent offensive team this year. They're ranked 10th in the nation in points per game. They're also 6th in the nation in field goal percentage, which is very impressive. One place that they do struggle is perimeter shooting, just 297th in the nation in perimeter shooting, which is, below average, not good at all. But what I will say is a lot of teams are more comfortable when they're at home, when they're in their home gym. Sometimes those threes are going to fall that don't fall on the road. These are 2 explosive offenses. There's a reason why the total is so high. I mean, that total is 172 in a college basketball game is high as hell. There's a reason for it. Both of these teams play very good offense and not so much on the defensive end. Furman is yet to win a road game this season, okay? While you look at the Green Wave, they're undefeated at home. So it sets up for me here for Tulane. I just think based on what Tulane's going to do in the paint, I just think they're going to be the better team. Furman's going to shoot better from the outside, but I think Tulane's going to control the paint here. And for that reason, I'm on Tulane. Now I just got to decide how I'm going to do this for the show. I think what I'll probably do is move to the first half because, like you said, I think they're going to be an angry group coming on a fat and lazy group off of an easy win. And I like Tulane anyways. So let's see. If I can get a 3.5 in the first half, I'd love that. But if that's up to 4.5, I'm really in between a rock and a hard spot right now.
Yeah, let's see what we could do. I just looked at the same thing. It is 4 at 365, but let's see what it is
Ugh.
here at Pinnacle, because they give you the opportunity to pay for the 3.5, and it usually doesn't hurt you too badly. So they're still at 7, by the way, but it's juiced. The first half, wow, no, man.
It's crazy because last night when I texted you, the money was on Furman and it was at 5.5, and I was worried that the line was going to drop and I was going to get the ass end of it, but I went ahead and bet it anyways.
Yeah, you don't need to give it out here on the show. Don't feel pressure there.
Okay. I just for transparency, I'll tell everyone I still like Tulane, but in college basketball, the difference in 5.5 and 7.5 is huge. Okay. I know it might just seem like 2 points, but I'm telling you, in these games, when you get down to the free throws at the end, having to cover a 7.5 versus a 5.5 they're not even in the same ballpark.
Yeah, and I guess so. Generally speaking, so far on this show, I would need to see bigger bets on the side that I want to bet, and we're not seeing that here. But I feel like I can explain everything here. People just saw Tulane get absolutely destroyed. Is there any injury issue with why they got destroyed in that game?
No, they're just their defense. Neither of these teams play very good defense, and Tulane's defense was gashed in that game.
Mississippi shot 46.4. Mississippi State shot 46.4% from 3, while Tulane only shot 20.8% from 3.
There you go. That sounds like a good reason right there, huh?
The starters for Tulane shot a combined 3 for 20 from 3.
Wow.
The bench went 2 for 4. They went it went 3 for 20.
And that's why I think at a home gym coming home here, I mean, Tulane's not a good 3-point team. They're not gonna light it up on any game. But I think obviously they're gonna shoot better than the last game, and I think they dominate the paint here in this game. I really do. It's one thing when you shoot a 3 and you don't get the rebound, right? But it's another thing in a game where you have a chance to get a rebound. This game, when they miss, I think Tulane's going to get some offensive boards and they're going to get putback opportunities.
Beans, Fitzgibbons liking the spot for Furman here. When you have the kind of offense that Furman has, you can get back into games easily, and I think that's the discomfort that Gab has on the full game 7. But I think that this Tulane team comes out so angry early. They just got absolutely embarrassed. And then Furman comes in off of a tough game against Bob Jones. All right, I'd like Tulane first half. I just have to decide whether it's gone too far. But you know what? One thing that I find interesting about this first half is Pinnacle's hanging the 7. Now it's minus 116, so the 7.5 is minus 108, but they're hanging the 7 minus 116. And then on the first half, they're hanging the 4.5. The 4 is minus 115.
So last night, the first half was way juice, like minus 120 for 3.5. Minus 120 for 2.5. And then you could get no juice at 3.5. And so now it's juiced up at 4 and 4.5, right? So I was just letting you know that was the first. Last night I was able to get 2.5 at minus 120 on the first half.
Well, I am extremely interested in that first half. See if we can get to the double digits for the winning streak in college basketball. 9 straight winners right now. Let's see if we can make it 10. All right, let's move on to college football here. Dabby Cab has picked out 2 spots that he is attacking for Saturdays. Again, this week we're only going to be talking about Saturday college football. So let's move over there. Jose, if you don't mind, head us over to our... Let me see if I... Oh, there we go. Thank you, Jose. All right, let's get to work here. College football best bets from Dabby Cab on this Saturday, the 17th. Dabby Cab starts at 2:15 p.m. Eastern with the New Orleans Bowl. Jacksonville State Gamecocks 8-4. The Louisiana Ragin' Cajun 6-6. We're at the Caesars Superdome for this one. Let's set this up and pull up the line history here for this spot, and then hear what our man Cabby has to say about it. First off, let's take a look at the line history here. We have Jacksonville State, who's been very good to us this season. God, come on, open up. It's not opening. Here we go. Jacksonville State opening up right now at Pinnacle to bet right now at -2.5. They opened up at -3.5. So there has been a move towards Louisiana, a move towards them. So a 1-point move towards the Ragin' Cajuns, 1-point move there. From a total perspective here, we are sitting with a 59.5. It is open. It's gone up 3 points. It's opened up at 56.5. It shot all the way up to 59.5. It is juiced to the over. So we have a move towards Louisiana, 1 point, and a 3-point move towards the over. We take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. You have 90% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on Jacksonville State. And they've gone from 3.5 to 2.5. That's nuts. Then from a total perspective here, 82% of the tickets and 83% of cash on the over. That makes sense. It's gone up 3 points. We last saw Jacksonville State in a very tough game against New Mexico State. They lost 2 of their final 3 games, but this team looked great this year. There's no getting around it. They played really good football. Going up against these Ragin' Cajuns here. So we have, Conference USA going up against Sunbelt. So it was a disappointing year for Louisiana, but they finished on a high note, and they played Troy tough. I think there was a lot of negativity after, losing to Southern Miss in overtime. They were 8.5-point favorites there. So there was a lot of negativity. Then they came back and they looked great against Troy. Troy's a very good football team that was in Troy, in Bama, and they lose 31-24. And then they closed the year strong. It is UL Monroe, and they were horrible this year, but they dominate that game, put up 476 yards. They were 13.5-point favorites. They win 52-21. So it feels like they're trending in the right direction. Let's hear how our man Cabby's hammering this one. Take it away. Gamecocks, Ragin' Cajuns, the New Orleans Bowl.
I know everyone knows this because we have smart cappers in the chat, but betting the bowl games, it's a minefield, man. You've got to pay attention to who's playing, who's not playing, used to, we only had to worry about motivation. Now we got to worry about more than motivation with the transfer portal. I mean, there's a lot to look at. And let's just start with the motivation factor. Okay, Jacksonville State was not supposed to be able to play in a bowl game this year. They were not eligible to be put in a bowl game. So how did we get here? How are they here? Because only 30 out of the 32 teams that are supposed to be bowl teams qualified. Only 30 teams had enough wins to qualify. So now we get Jacksonville State, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if you saw it. They were on the jet. I guess they were heading home after a game, and the coach got on the intercom and talked to the team, and he let them all know, like, hey, boys, our season's not over. We made it to a bowl game. They're letting us in. We got another game. You could hear the whole plane was rocking. Everybody was cheering. The team's excited to play. And you look at who they've got out for this game. No one. I've got no one to report that's going to be out for this game. Now we look across the side at ULL, Washington, right? The running back, Chris, the first quarterback, Waldridge, the second quarterback. You got the tight end out. You've got the starting linebacker out. You've got the third quarterback out on suspension. You've got the safety out because he hit the transfer portal. You've got another linebacker out, Grant, who hit the transfer portal. All key players on this ULL team who were not very good in the first. I don't mean the players weren't good, but the team wasn't that good in the first place this year. So I'm going to leave it with that. The amount of players being ruled out for this game, and the fact that Louisiana, they barely got into this bowl game. They scraped into it as low as you can possibly get. And they're going up against a Jacksonville State team who is just happy as a fly on shit to be here, right? They are pumped to play this football game. Ragin' Cajuns defense is giving up 30.8 points per game in their previous 4 games. While you got the Gamecocks on the other side holding opponents to just 21.6 points per game in their last 5 games. They have been playing good on defense. The injuries to the quarterback scare me off Louisiana without a question. I don't like where the money's at. I don't like the fact that it went under a key number with all of the bets on the other side. That's a huge red flag. But that red flag doesn't matter because I've already bet this game and the same line is available, so I will give it out. I've got Jacksonville State -2.5 right here.
Wow, what a wild situation here.
Isn't it?
That market move against Jacksonville State is confounding. All right, -2.5 for Dabby Cab. This is going to take more time for me. -2.5 for Cab.
Yeah, I don't love it because of the market. I love it because of everything else, though. If that makes sense. Like the market, I hate, but the whole storyline behind this game, man, Jacksonville State is going to be amped to play this football game. And do the Cajuns even give a fuck?
Wow, that's wild. Okay, breakdown from Dabby Cab. He's on Jacksonville State at -2.5. And by the way, I did move this morning on my first spot on the Saturday card. I did move on New Mexico State and the Nasty Nate family at -3.5. It's something that I do quite often. It's when I'm sitting here, humming and hawing on a spot, and then I see fours, and then I see a 4.5 at Pinnacle. And I'm like, oh God, I got to move on this now when it's 3.5 with no juice. We'll see how that bangs out. But that's my only spot so far on Saturday, and I did tweet it out this morning after I bet it. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, and let's let our guy Wine Time take us here.
Yeah.
By the way, Leonard says that the Cajuns 100% give a fuck. Says New
They
Orleans
are in New Orleans, so
Super Bowl in Lafayette.
Yeah. It's hard for me to believe that, though, Leonard. I love you and I believe you, but a 6-6 team thinks this is a Super Bowl against a team that wasn't even supposed to be in a bowl game. It is in their home. It's in their home state, so there's that.
DC Capper, though, joining you on Jacksonville State. All right, let's let Wine Time bring us into the next spot. Now, we spoke about the LA Bowl yesterday, and we're going to touch on it again here. So let's do it. Wine Time says, I moved on UCLA -2.5 on Monday. My numbers had this at -3.5. Garbers will be starting for UCLA, more in the portal, and the whole defense will be playing for UCLA besides Latu. Says Boise quarterback is in the portal. The move heavily towards Boise with 75% of the tickets on Boise. He said every kid that went to the portal from UCLA were guys that were not even playing. He said, would I move on them now at -4.5? No way. We talked about this spot yesterday, and Mikey gave us the over 48.5 at -109. Let's do a review of where we stand right now. Speaking of that 48.5 at -109, Pinnacle has that at 48.5 at -110 right now. It has not moved. It has moved a couple cents, a few cents. It was -107 this morning, and then 15 minutes ago there was a 3-cent move towards the under. So very little of anything there. From a side perspective here in this UCLA Boise State, we just heard Wine Time not wanting to be involved in the 4.5. It's at 4 at Pinnacle. They've never moved it to 4.5. Now it's only juiced to -112. I also, for a UCLA. And then when we go back to the cash flow, we know what Mikey was trying to do, go up against this move to the under. And it's a huge move to the under. We could talk about the 3 points, but we could also talk about 88% of the tickets and 99% of the cash is on the under. And Mikey going up against it. From a spread perspective here, we have 28% of the tickets on UCLA, but 50% of the cash. Big bets have come in on them, and the market has moved. Take it away. UCLA, just a review from yesterday. They were last seen losing their third in 4 games, 33-7 at home to Cal. Boise State finished the season very strong. I mean, that 44-20 win in Vegas to win the Mountain West Championship over the Rebels was really impressive, and they outgained them 527-298 in that one. But as we heard, neither of the quarterbacks that we saw in the last week of season are playing in this one. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab, UCLA, Boise State.
Man, another interesting game. I swear these bowl games feel like a minefield, man. They really do. And shout out to our guy Leonard. He's reconfirming that he thinks that they will be ready to play. I hope they are ready to play, but I hope they still lose, Leonard. So I hope I win my bet. But Boise State this season, started off slow, losing 3 of its first 5 games overall, but ended up having a successful season. They ended on a high note. Here's the thing, though. We got to look at it, right? The transfer portal has not been kind to them. They lost their starting quarterback and top receiver to the transfer portal. So, are their replacements going to be up to par here? I don't know. Losing a quarterback is, I don't have to go into how important that is, but, you're losing your starting quarterback and giving the ball to somebody you're not used to. And one thing that UCLA will bring to the table is defense. I don't think anybody has any question about that. I think we know UCLA's defense is going to show up. So even though both of these teams have suffered from attrition, I think that UCLA is going to be the team to beat here on Saturday. The Bruins rank 3rd nationally on rushing yards allowed. They have one of the best pass rushes in college football with 41 sacks on the season. Not a place where I'd want to be if I was a quarterback taking somebody's spot in a big bowl game. I know this is a neutral site. Also, it's at SoFi Stadium, but it's not going to feel that way. I almost guarantee you it feels like a home game for UCLA. Just with this defense, I don't like the 4.5 either, Jimmy, but if I can still get a 4, I'll take the 4, and I'll go ahead and double up on this spot. I'll take a first half also if I can get under 3.
Well, let's lock this in for you. Dabby Cab making moves here. We have, we have -4 at -112. And wow. Yeah, you got lots of options here for first half. You could have the -0.5 at -125, -1.5, -116, -2.5, -112.
What? I really thought that last one was going to be like -108 or something like that. I guess I'll take the -2.5. I don't want to lay -116 right now. Better not be an extra point that misses this for me. I'll fucking kill somebody.
-2.5, and then a full game -4 at -112. Dabby Cab is locked in, doubling up here on the Bruins as well as being on Jacksonville State. In college basketball, he has Tulane -5.5, but it's 7 right now, slightly juiced or 7.5. And he's not making that official, and I get it. Cab, thank you so much for rolling with us. Congratulations on the premiere episode of All About the Hoops, our new Wednesday night basketball live bet stream. Medicate Mondays, of course, on Monday. But Kansas, Indiana, Saturday. And the show starts 11:45 as always, but Kansas, Indiana doesn't start till 12:30. So you're going to hear their looks. LSU is playing at 12 in the big one, but Kansas, Indiana in Indiana is the spotlight live bet stream game for Dabby Cab and Connor Mack this Saturday after the Jeff Nadu show here on Pop Sports Radio. Dabby Cab, great work, my friend. Please follow Dabby Cab on X at Dabby Cab. Cabby, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, this Saturday, Jimmy, it's weird to have such a big card without betting with the bag. I love having betting with the bag, but we have huge cards on Saturday, right? So if you're here for betting with the bag, you should be there on Saturday because I'm telling you guys, I'm a low volume guy usually. I have 5 to 7 bets almost every Saturday in college basketball alone. It's an absolute blast. Went 3-2 last week, just slight profit. We're going to have a better Saturday this Saturday, Jimmy. You guys in the chat, man, we don't have anything without you. If you haven't started looking for your Pubapalooza tickets, do it now. I know you hear it every show, so it might seem a little bit repetitive. March is going to come quick, guys. Get your tickets. Let's get down there. Let's cash some fucking tickets. Let's smoke some good green. Let's have some drinks together, and let's make some money.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait. There we go. Dabra Cadabra in the house. We move on to our next guest, star of the Picks from Dave YouTube channel, Friday Night Nerd Talk, and also a big part of our live streams here on Pub Sports Radio. And also every Thursday can be seen right here on Betting with the Bag. We start in college football, and then we have 3 spots that are being attacked in college basketball. Please welcome, now making his home in Arizona by way of California, please welcome Mr. Dave Rogers to the show. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Jimmy. How you doing? Ramon backstage. Love you.
Let's get right to it here. New Mexico State Aggies at Fresno State Bulldogs, University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 44 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 5 miles per hour is the wind. David, it's great to see you, my friend. It's great that we're talking about this spot, because Mike M yesterday gave us New Mexico State under 51.5. And Mel in the chat was just adamant that the Aggies were the best bet on the board. I looked into it further and was watching the market. And when Pinnacle moved it to 4.5, and it wasn't quite, it was a real 4.5 at first. That was yesterday after the show. It's come back a little bit. There's been a 4-cent move towards Fresno at 4.5, but I moved at 3.5 at Bet 365. So this is my first bet for Saturday. Mikey M gave us the under 51.5. We talked about how bad Fresno State looked closing up their season, in comparison to what New Mexico State, how they looked. And they even looked great in that Conference USA Championship game against Liberty. And they had that 8-game winning streak that came to an end. Let's pull up the line history here for this one and remind ourselves of the situation. First off, as I said, it's 4.5 some books, it's 3.5 at others. Let's see what BetOnline has here. BetOnline has it 3.5 for the pick'em. So, but Bovada has moved it to 4, but the other books aren't. Then from a total side of things here, we have the total sitting at 51. There was a hook that we got, Mikey. This opened up at 51.5. It dropped to 51. From a cash flow standpoint here for this one, we have 86% of tickets and 96% of the cash on New Mexico State. Not usually a spot that I would be comfortable backing, but I thought that the books were going to move it. If the books don't move this, if this goes back to 3.5, stays at 3.5, I will likely try to buy out of it. I thought that I was getting ahead of something, which it seems like I'm not. This is another spot where Mikey was going up against this big amount of tickets on the over, 89% tickets, 84% cash on the over, and it's dropped a half point. Let's see if Dave can illuminate more and hear what his action is. Take it away for us here, Dave. Aggies, Bulldogs in University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, so you kind of, my starting point, you said it's a tale of two teams. One team that started the season really well and kind of just puttered out into the finish line, and then another team that up until the last game against a tough Liberty team in New Mexico State was on an 8-game winning streak. So this is a team that's really good or was doing really well. But statistically, you look at these teams, they're not horrible. They don't really, there's very few points that stand out. Both are really good defensively, but really to me, there's 2 or 3 reasons why I'm taking the side that I like. And the side that I like is New Mexico State. They're one of the top rush offenses in the country, 198 yards per game. That's 13th out of 130-something schools. I think they'll control the pace with their run game and their defense. Another thing is, and Cab was talking about motivation, there are schools that care and there are schools that don't care to be in bowl games. I'll give you an example. A team that does not care is a USC team last year that didn't get to where they wanted to be. They went and played Tulane and lost. Didn't play defense, even though they don't play defense anyways. They don't give a shit. Some of these teams, it's either their conference championship or a playoff spot or nothing. New Mexico State is a team where a bowl game matters. And then on top of that, they're in New Mexico. It's not in Las Cruces. It's in Albuquerque. That's a 3-hour drive. People are going to be driving there. And also there are fans already in New Mexico State that probably live in Albuquerque. So that's a big thing. Last 2 things. Fresno State's coach stepped out for health reasons, and Fife, their starting quarterback, is still out. Keene, the quarterback now, if he goes down, who the F is going to play quarterback for them? They've got issues. New Mexico State's rolling, even though they barely lost to Liberty. I'm on New Mexico State.
Well, I like it. I moved on it this morning. Would you be concerned if this doesn't move off the 3.5? I mean, I'm not buyout concerned, but concerned.
So here's where number one is I cap a little bit differently. I don't necessarily look at the same. I do respect what you guys do. I just don't look at it. I will say that I do indexes. However, Nick and myself, who put the indexes together, we're not doing that for bowl games because bowl games are different. You don't know who's playing. We're sticking it out with our subjective capping skills. So I'm looking less at lines and looking more in narratives. So I don't care so much where the number's going. I'm picking the spot that I like.
I feel you. You are locked and loaded here. We get you the -3.5. It's available at -108 right now at Heritage, and I'm riding right with you. We go from college football to college basketball. You've been a big part of my run here in college basketball. 9 straight winners right now. I had my record said 4-6 at one point. Now we're sitting here at 13-6. Let's keep it rolling. You've picked 3 spots that you are attacking. So let's talk about the first one. Let me just set this up here for you. First spot on the board for Dave is the Citadel Bulldogs, 6-4, 1-3 on the road. At Charleston Cougars, 5-4, 2-0 at home. We're in Charleston, South Carolina for this one. We have the College of Charleston sitting right now, playing good basketball. They're undefeated at home. They beat Liberty 76-67. We last saw them on Sunday beating Rhode Island at home 85-70. It was an impressive performance. They were, I don't have how big of a favorite they were, but 50.7% from the field and 43.5% from three. Pulling away in the second half, they look very good. Citadel has not played in 9 days, and that game was against Div 3 school that was not important, but they had 2-game winning streak rolling. They beat North Carolina A&T, and before that, they beat Charleston Southern. So, Citadel playing well. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Citadel opening up as 13-point dogs. Let's see if there's been any change at Bet Online. Quickly here we have, yes, there has been some movement. This opened up at 13 yesterday at 12:17 p.m. Got to 13.5 within 11 minutes, and then got up to 14.5. That was the high water mark. Since then, it's come back to exactly where it started. Take a look at the total here for this one. From a total perspective, we are sitting here with a 147 flat, and Bet Online just moved it again. Did they? Yes, they just moved it back to 147.5. It got up to 148. This opened up at 144, so we've had a big move towards the over. And from a cash flow standpoint here, we have 77% of the tickets on Citadel, but just 32% of the cash. We have seen a little bit of buyback. And then 61% of tickets and 76% of cash on the over. And yet, and it's gone from 144 up to 148. So that makes sense. Take it away for us here. The Citadel at Charleston.
Yeah, what a barn burner we have these two teams. Citadel is not a good offensive team by any measure. 252nd in the country. They only score 68.4 points per game. But when you've heard me on the show, and you'll hear me on my show, and you hear me in conversations if we're friends privately, or you hear me say it anywhere, there are 3 important things to covering spreads, whether you're a dog or a favorite. And the first one is free throws. They shoot 73.2 from the line. It's 108. That's top 30% in the country. Rebounds is next. They rebound well. This is Citadel, especially defensively, over 25 per game. That's top 20%. And they don't turn the ball over. But most importantly, I think of everything is they have a decent defense. They only give up 65.6 points per game. That's 45th in the country, top 15%. So Citadel has some very, very good statistical points. Charleston Southern, College of Charleston is slightly above average in a lot of places. Scoring offense, free throw percentage. They don't turn the ball over a ton. But like I said, they're only slightly above average. But they give up 75 points per game. So their defense isn't good. And their effective field goal percentage is 47.8. That's 250th. Again, there's 362 teams. That's not good. But the biggest point in this game, besides Citadel being good in a lot of places and Charleston being slightly above average and really bad in other places, is that Charleston shoots a shit ton of threes, almost 30 per game. And probably what Citadel does the best is defend the three. They only give up 5.5 per game. It's top 10% in the country. So in order for you to get ahead if you're a big favorite, a double-digit favorite, you need to beat them. You need to be better at shooting free throws. You need to be better at rebounding. You need to be a better defensive team. And you need a way to get ahead and stay ahead, and that's shooting the three. And none of those things are happening for Charleston. At least the numbers aren't saying that. This number is too big. I'm taking Citadel.
The Citadel for Dave here, plus 13. And I think we can find them a hook here, plus 13.5. Certainly the X's and O's on that breakdown make a ton of sense. Let's see if we can get you that hook to make it a little easier here. Okay, shoot, sorry, let me go over here. Oh God, sorry. Get this up here. Okay, there we go. Yes. Oh, yes, we can at Bookmaker, but it costs a little bit. But we know it costs nothing at my bookie, plus 13.5 at my and Will Hill as well. So the Citadel for Dave. Citadel at plus 13.5 at minus 110. And that works perfectly here. That works. Stano saying ESPN bet has that hook. Justin McElvey. Oh, sorry. I got to work on the last. He's not Irish, Got to work on that. But Justin's niece just got accepted to Robert Morris University. Congratulations to the whole family, man. That is wonderful, wonderful news. Justin's niece accepted to Robert Morris. Gold 44 said, I hope this breakdown correlates with Citadel. So he's on them at plus 13.5, minus 105. Ian Chambers says the books are adjusting, but dogs on the road still his favorite look overall. And Stimmy OG leading us into the next game. He says that he is on East Carolina Pirates. You talked about Nicholas Earl earlier. He's an East Carolina Pirate. 6-4 at the Florida Gators. 6-3. We're at Lakeland, Florida. So we're not on their home court here for this one. Let's take a look at the situation here. First off, we have East Carolina coming off a loss. They had back-to-back wins and then fell to the Gamecocks at home, 68-62. They were 5.5-point dogs and didn't get the cover or the victory. Florida had those losses to Baylor and at Wake Forest. They've bounced back, a little bit. Merrimack and Richmond, both double-digit victories. And from a rest standpoint, both teams played on Saturday. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. We have Florida right now, 14.5 at Pinnacle and 14.5 at Bet Online, but that 14.5 is juiced. They opened up at 15.5. It's been bouncing all over the place between the 14.5 and the 15.5. And from a total perspective here, we have it's sitting at 153. This opened up at 156. This got as low as 151 at 9 this morning. We had a 5-point move to the under. There's been a couple points of bounce back, but still a move towards the under. And from a cash flow perspective here, we have 51% of the tickets and 92% of the cash on East Carolina. At least the markets moved slightly towards them. Then from the total perspective, 39% of tickets and 84% of cash on the under in the market. So the market is following the bets in this one. Take it away for us here, Dave. East Carolina, Florida Gators.
Yeah, we talk about ECU, and they besides the brothers Earl. Well, actually, Tim doesn't go there anymore, but besides Nick going to the school, they have very few endearing attributes as far as their basketball team. They're slightly above average in offensive and defensive scoring. Their rebounding's okay. Their turnovers are okay, but really everything else is bad. I mean, despite a 6-4 record, I'd call them a bad team. And Florida looks like a good team. They score a shit ton of points, over 80, almost 84 points a game. Their rebounding is near the top in the country, both offensively and defensively. But they give up a ton of points. They give up 74 points a game, and they don't hit free throws. It's under 67%, 291 in the country. That is really bad. So it makes sense with how I talk about teams covering spreads that Florida has only covered 2 out of 9 games, covered the spread. But here's the biggest part, and this is the tipping point in this game for me. They've been a double-digit favorite in 4 out of 9 games. They've covered none of them, and these are the teams they played. Loyola, Maryland, Florida A&M, Merrimack, and Richmond. Richmond's the only team that's worth a shit in that group, and Florida A&M and Loyola, Maryland are 2 of the worst teams in the country, and they need to cover a double-digit spread when they haven't done it against those teams. Against ECU, which I would say is better than 2 or 3 of those teams, I'm taking the points. It's too many points.
Dave Rogers moving on East Carolina here. Makes sense. Let's take a look at what we can give you on the side. I'll do a little line shopping for you, Dave. And the last game we have on the board, we're not there yet, but next up will be the Tommies at Marquette in Wisconsin at Pfizer. Here, though, we can get you a 15, right? Yeah, 15 at Heritage, minus 111. 15 at Bovada at minus 105. So let's give you that. Let's give you that. Plus 15 for Dave Rogers on ECU at minus 105. You are locked in. Let's move on to the final spot on your card, Dave. 8 p.m. Eastern. St. Thomas, Minnesota. Tommy 6-4, 2-3 on the road at the Marquette Golden Eagles, who are undefeated at home, 8-2 on the season. They beat Texas at home and beat them badly, 86-65, and didn't get off to that good of a start. Shaka, showed who is a boss in that one. And then they destroyed Notre Dame by 19. So 2 big victories after their loss at Wisconsin by 11 points for Marquette. Then we have the Tommies. The Tommies have just come in off beating Chicago State 66-50 at Chicago State. And we all saw what Chicago State did for us last night. We were on them plus 24 and plus 24.5, plus 25, respectively. We were on them at that number, and they win outright. They win outright at Northwestern. Unbelievable. It was still plus 16 for Chicago State at halftime, even though they were, I think, up by a couple points at halftime. I didn't move on them live. I should have, because clearly they were in that game. But that's what the St. Tommies have done. Tommies have won 3 straight, and they beat Milwaukee at home. So that's these Tommies right now. 2-3 on the road, so they have proven that they can win there, going up against Marquette. So let's take, and then rest situation-wise, Marquette played on Saturday. Tommies played on Sunday. When we go over to the line history here for this one, we have Marquette right now as 24.5 point favorites at minus 112. This got up to 25 initially. It's bounced between 24 and 25, but it's sitting right now at 24. Let's take a look at the total here for this one. And going to take 1 second. While that's refreshing, let's grab the cash flow for this spot. We have no information on the cash. We just know that 72% of the tickets are on St. Thomas. For the total, we know that 80% of tickets and 84% of cash are on this over. This over sitting right now at 143.5, and it's come up from 138. Wow. 5.5 point move to the over in this one. Dave, take it away. Tommy's Golden Eagles.
Well, I like to hear that, and I don't like to hear that, because my bet in this game is on the total. Can Marquette cover? I think the line's actually about right. Marquette's a very good team. St. Thomas isn't a schlub, but they're just at a different level. Marquette's competing for the Final Four, and the Tommies don't go anywhere. But when you look at St. Thomas, it's just a low-scoring affair. They only score 64 points a game, but give up 62. Good defense, bad offense, or at least I would say a low-scoring offense. 2 of their 9 games have gone over. And then Marquette, they have a high-scoring offense, almost 80 points a game, and their defense is really good, only give up 66 points per game. So where does the scoring come from in this game? All Marquette, probably. That's why this line is where it's at minus 25. But when you look at where the games have gone in the totals for Marquette, and they've been higher totals than the St. Thomas games, obviously, but this is just a situation where the books get it wrong. 7 of the 10 games that Marquette's played have gone under. Their last 4 have gone under. That could be sharp money driving the number up. It could be dumb money driving the number up. I don't know. Again, that's not my bag with that. I was ready to take the under before it got driven up. I like that it's been driven up. I'm on the under in this game.
Let's get you that under, because it certainly has been driven up, and it's gone up to 144 at Heritage, 144 at Pinnacle, 144 at Will Hill without any VIG. Wow. So just regular VIG, I should say. Under 144 for Dave. Under 144 at minus 110. Dave is locked in. He's fired 3 bullets here in college basketball. Citadel plus 13.5. ECU plus 15. And the under 144 at minus 110 in the Marquette spot. So Dave Rogers sitting here 7-6, 53.8%, plus 0.39 units, and it really should be 9-4, giving out two games that he gave that you could bet right now and lost them by a hook, but he had bet them the night before and cashed them. So we see you, Dave, doing great work here. The record doesn't quite indicate how strong that you've been, but we like it and we respect it. Dave, tell us a little bit about what's going on here at the Picks from Dave YouTube channel this week.
Yep. So we do Nerd Talk every Friday night. It's a live betting show. It also looks through the weekend. We start about 7 before all the games start on Friday night, which is usually 6:45 or 7 Eastern. We go for 4 or 5 hours. We have a lot of the usual suspects that are on this show, and I host it with Earl Sports Bets, Nick specifically. That's on Fridays. We're gonna do a midweek show as well. We did one last night. I know there's also a show that's on here as well too. We're trying to figure that out, but we're just trying to get some more exposure for our channels and do more work. But obviously, you guys have choices of where you want to be. And then I'm on Jimmy's show on Sunday and Monday for the live betting stream. I'm also on Mike's show tonight, and I'm on Twitter as well. Picks from Dave.
And will you be making an appearance at Pavapalooza?
Oh, well, does the Pope shit in the woods?
Yeah. Right there. And Dave, guess what? We got you under 144.5 at Caesars, thanks to our guy Coin with
Sweet.
minus 110 vig.
Thanks.
So you got under 144.5 minus 110. Please follow Dave on X at Picks from Dave. Excuse me, at Picks from Dave on X. Dave, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Go out there and get that cash, my man. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Thanks to the chat. Thanks to you, Jimmy. Thanks to Ramon backstage. Love you guys. See you next week.
There he is, Dave Rogers. We move on to NBA. And I would be fucking lying to you if I wasn't so goddamn pumped up about what we're doing here in NBA. It's just nonstop. And I can explain it. That's the good part. When you're winning and winning and winning, and you're like, I don't know, I'm just getting lucky. I can explain it. Why would I have ever thought, with my acumen, my skill set, my intellect, that I would be able to beat the books with totals, going up against supercomputers and models and all that stuff? When Dan Kelly with a database does it, look, I get it. But for me, it's not really the way I cap. Like I'm going to have an advantage knowing the pace of the last 5 games in some situations. Maybe I could, but sides. Let's focus only on sides. We've cashed 13 of our last 16 bets in NBA. Now 29-14 on the season. And it's paying bills, man. Well, I don't pay any bills with it. It's building a bankroll, though, because I want my unit size to increase. Let's get this fucking money, man. Please welcome our next guest. The 3rd season he has been rocking with us in NBA. Both seasons were very strong. His first season, he was beaten by a taint hair by Dutch boy Fresh. He almost got to 60% on the season against the spread. Then last year, he was clearly our number 1 capper in NBA of the experts. And this year, he started out 11-8, hitting at 57.9% plus 2.36 units, an ROI plus 12.42%, an average line plus 102. Getting that cash yet again. Please welcome our guy and yours from Los Angeles, California, Daryl Rice, to the show. Daryl, how are you, my friend?
Yo, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, man? Keep it short and simple, man. What would you like to say?
I just read that I might need. I've gone blurry. Let me know if I'm still blurry.
Come on,
Jose,
get your shit together, man. Get your shit together.
I need to get my.
Come on, man. You just messed up my. I almost feel like you need to take me off the screen and then bring me back because.
I am blurry. Wow. Okay, I am blurry. All right, am I back? I'm back. All right. Daryl, it is great to see you, my friend. It is great to see you. We've been running real nice. Last night was too easy. Bucks -6, Jazz +6. Got that cash, and we're it's just everything's coming together. The quantity of action is way down. Dan Kelly says, "I feel like I'm being heard." Dan, this group that we work with, why wouldn't we be destroying? But I have been listening, Dan, and I don't know what I was thinking really when I look back, and I was explaining it to somebody. Sorry about my son screaming in the background, but I was explaining to someone yesterday what ignorant that I would think that I could, that with the skill set that I have, that I would be able to, successfully beat the NBA year after year on totals. It's stupid. What are you best at? That's why you have to constantly track your action. What are you succeeding at? We see drill rocking first quarters all the time. He's got proof that he's beating them. And if you don't have him, why wouldn't you? And then the listening. Sammy Comer telling me he's on the Sixers -3. I wanted the Pistons bad, but I listened. I didn't go up against them. I just left off my card, and we got that papier. Drill, I'm pumped up. I'm excited. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I am good. It's like I always say, today on this side of the grass is a good day. I'm good, man. I was a little under the weather for the past week, but I am happy, man. I'm happy to be alive, happy to be here with you talking hoop, man. With Jose talking hoop, and as usual, everybody in the chat. I think I'm going to make some moves in real time. And I really, really feel like I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. It's happened quite a bit on this card. So let's get there, man. Let's get to talking hoops. It's a lot of games. We haven't had a lot of games like this whole year. I think it was one day we did, right? But then it's been a lot of 2 games, 3 games. In-season participation trophy tournament is over, so maybe we'll get back on track here. So yeah, man, happy to be talking hoops. Jay, how are you doing, man? I don't think I ever asked you how you're fucking doing.
Oh man, I just feel like everything's coming together. I feel like everything's coming together right now, and I want it to continue. I'm pumped up. When you see this record pop up, you'll see this is all. I mean, family is first, obviously, but good God, that's pretty close right there. That's pretty close to next.
That's insane, man.
Let's get
7.4%. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get right to work, my friend. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Cleveland Cavaliers 13-11, 7-5 on the road at the Boston Celtics 17-5, 11-0 at home. TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. One thing that's happened is I've stayed off losses. I've listened and stayed off losses, and it's been hugely beneficial to my bankroll. Let's talk about this spot right here. Mobley out still for the Cavs, and KP is a game-time decision, and he's not alone. Jaylen Brown, also a game-time decision here for the Boston Celtics. These Cavaliers coming off their second straight loss, and it was right here on Tuesday in Boston. Boston won 120-113. It was their second straight win. They'd beaten the Knicks, by double digits earlier. They were 11.5 point favorites. They didn't cover. Both teams shot well. It was just that the Celtics out-rebounded the Cavaliers badly. Tatum went for 25 and 10. Jaylen Brown also went for 25. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We'll start with the side from a point spread standpoint here. We're going to go back to Pinnacle. We're sitting with Boston as 9-point favorites, -9 at -102. This opened up at -8.5. We have a half-point move towards them. From a total scenario, we're sitting here at 225. This opened up at 226.5. It's actually at 225.5, So we've dropped a point. So we've dropped a point on the total. We've moved a half point towards the Celtics. From the cash flow perspective, we have 59% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the Cleveland Cavaliers to bounce back. And it's not really a bounce back needed. They played well. They covered. They shot well. And then from a total spot, 26% of the tickets and 36% cash on the under. Brent Cook, I love hearing that. 27-12 since December 1st. I love that. I love that.
Reading that. Yeah.
We're rolling.
He says the bottom falls out next week. I don't believe that.
No, just the key. Can you explain why you're winning? That's the key. I believe, because when you're like, I don't know, I'm just getting lucky. Then of course,
yeah. The bottom falls out. Yeah, you're right about that. If you can explain that, Jimmy, you're spot on with that. Yeah. If you can explain why you're winning and just keep up with it, just know your spots, man. Know where to pick your spots. Don't get greedy. Know where to pick your spots. But yeah, congrats to Brent for that. I'm going to tell you something about this game. It's very telling how the line. First off, you don't have Mobley, probably, right? You don't have Mobley here, and Kristaps is a game time decision. That line last game was at 11.5. This one opened up at 8. It's up to 9.5, right? So that's very telling. Also, the total's way down. It went over last game. If you look at their recent body of work, these teams take their games over. Now, they're kind of low as far as where their totals are. This one is pretty much high, but you see them at about 220, 219, 218. Last game was 227, and this game is 225. So you see a lower total, and you see a lower spread. I see comments saying Celtics first quarter. They know what's going on, or Celtics second quarter, I'm sorry. Celtics second quarter has been as money right now, if not more money, than Clippers third quarter live. So if you know where to pick your spots right now until it's losing. Now, the Clippers last third quarter just lost, but they were, I think that game was just a complete blowout. You know to look at this game live and take it second quarter. I'm going to tell you this. I think the Cavs will cover the spread here. I'm kind of at a loss with this game here. If Kristaps is playing, then it might be one of those issues to where they barely cover. But if Kristaps is not playing, I almost believe that the Cavs can cover the full game. So I was looking at the first quarter, and it was kind of lopsided. Last game, Cleveland got them, I believe it was 31-21. The game before that, Celtics got them. I think it was like 30-something to 26. So they're kind of lopsided, so I didn't see an advantage there. Derek White also. I like how these guys are paying attention. Derek White is also a money printing machine right now. But if I'm going to take a play in this game, I'm waiting for the final injury reports. I would look at the Cavs covering the full game. That's the only way I can look at this game. Simulation report on the website I gave you guys, Boston 117, Cleveland 107. Boston 117, Cleveland 107. So you got 10 points there. That's probably why you've seen it jump from 8 to 9 to 9.5 and probably back down to 9. So it's too close for comfort for me, but I'll wait for the injury report. Depending on who's playing, I like Cleveland to cover here.
Yeah, this is not. I feel like this is a sharp line. I'm going to be comfortably off of it here. So let's roll on. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. Chicago Bulls 9-16, 2-9 on the road. Miami Heat 14-10, 6-4 at home. Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. These Bulls have been cashing and cashing and cashing for us, and it's legit. Zach LaVine out, Kobe White stepping up. Everybody knows their role. The problem is with Caruso, a game time decision. He's important. He's really, really important. Now, you don't really want him to have the ball in his hands offensively, but you need him there defensively. Kobe White looks incredible. I mean, I just can't believe. Now I see it. I couldn't find it for, when he came out of the draft, I was like, I don't see it. Yeah. Now I see it. He's a bulldog, and he looks so good. LaVine out. Bam and Hero are game time decisions. So let's take a look at the situation here. The Bulls have lost 2 straight. They lost by 4 in overtime at Milwaukee. Against San Antonio, their last victory, the market was telling us that it was a mistake to back them. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to believe in what I'm seeing. Here you can, again, we need explanations for markets and winning and all that stuff. You need to be able to explain it. We could explain that when you put the team in without LaVine, it doesn't come out that they're better. But we see it. We see it, and we can trust it. That they played well against Denver in their last game. They've been off since Tuesday. Heat have come off of back-to-back victories versus Charlotte in a home. And the last one was last night. So we have a Heat team on the third game in 4 nights on the second half of a back-to-back. The main question here is it possible, that Bam comes back and gives them a spark? Is it possible that Tyler Hero comes back and gives a tired team a spark? That's the biggest question. I mean, that we need to, you need to know it. Like, I don't want to move on the ball. I mean, the market is telling us here that they're not coming back. This opened up with the Bulls as 4.5-point favorite. There's dogs.
Yeah.
Now they're 3.5 dogs. There's just been a constant move from 4.5, juice to 4. And the 4 got juiced, and then 3.5. There's never been buyback. So they're telling us these guys are probably not in the lineup. Then from a total side of things, we're sitting at 216. This opened up at 217. So, not much help there. And then when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 76% of tickets on the Bulls, but just 43% of the cash. 24 and 57 on the other side, obviously. 55% of the tickets and 88% cash on the under. With the bigger bets coming in on the Heat and the line moving towards the Bulls, it tells me to stay put and wait on find out what the hell's going on here. And maybe you can illuminate it for us. Please take it away, Daryl. Bulls Heat.
Okay, let's not even talk about teams or sides, right? Let's not talk about sides or totals. Let's play a quick game. Guess the player. All right, Jay? Guess the player. 27. Now, he's either on Miami or he's on Chicago. 27 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 game. 33 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, another game. 24 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, another game. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Last game, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Guess the player.
Kobe White.
Kobe White. If you do not smash his PRA, you are losing money. You are losing money right now. Take Kobe White and just go to sleep and wake up with more money in your bank. Kobe White, PRA, the books finally adjusted. I don't give a shit. He's at 32.5 PRA right now. He could give you 30 points alone. He's just balling out of control. And when you have these cats in this certain type of mindset that they're playing in, it's kind of hard to get them out unless they just get out themselves. Take Kobe White over 32.5 PRA. I'm telling you right now, man, this is money that's going to be, it'll be some of the easiest money you've made. I don't care who he's playing. I don't care who he's playing, bro. He's just balling right now.
What juice did you get on that 32.5?
I got it at minus 118. I guarantee you'll probably see a better number, but I got it at minus 118. Somebody's probably going to have a different number.
Look at this. This is when Pinnacle doesn't want you to bet something. They have it at 30.5, minus 144 for the over.
Let's see. Yeah, they're going to juice that shit.
They don't want you to bet it.
They don't want you to bet it. They're like, yo, what's it worth to me to have that much fucking big? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they're going to leave it alone. Go to another book. So yeah, 31.5. This number had sat for the longest time at 28.5. The books finally catch up, but that's a no-brainer. This one here, I shit you not. And if you look, let's just look real briefly. If you look at who Chicago has played, Denver, Milwaukee, San Antonio, Charlotte, New Orleans. I mean, there's some pretty decent teams that he's played, and he's pretty much gotten what he's wanted. So Miami's they're not gonna be able to stop him. How he's playing right now, this is just one of those things to where you get in front of your own self when you're pretty much when you pretty much have a rhythm and then you fall off. I don't think a team's going to take him out right now. So until I see otherwise, that's the play.
We have 30.5 for Kobe White at minus 125 at Bet365.
Really? I'll take it. It. Well, no, in fairness, I'm gonna give you what I played. So I might even get plus money there at that point if you can outline that to a 32.
Yeah, They're not giving me an alt on that one. So do you want your 32.5 minus 20?
Yeah, I played it at 32.5. If you want to take the 360, then yeah, 30.5 it is.
Okay, over 30.5 for Durrell minus 125. Available right now at 365 here. Londo's got it at minus 118. Blue Rizza says for 35 plus, it's at plus 130. All right, Kobe White. Now, I want the Bulls here. Is there a chance that Hero or Bam is announced in?
The way this injury report's working, I mean, the problem is we're talking about one player, right? But can the Heat beat the Bulls without Bam or Hero? Hell yeah. You know, so how do you look at your opponent in this game? Is it worth bringing them back, or could they sit out another game and get a little more healthier?
For me, I want them announced in so that I can get a better line.
That's okay. That's fine for us, as you know, as your bettors trying to make money off the game. But for them, it's just wins and losses. That's the only thing they see. That's the columns that they look at: wins and losses. So can Miami beat Chicago without Bam or Hero? And I believe they can. If you have one of those guys, then you definitely can. I mean, this is Chicago. Another way to look at this game, if you look at the total on that, it's very, very low. But remember, Chicago allows opponents.
Oh, we have lost Durrell. Quick move. We lost Durrell. I'm sure he'll be right back. So locked in. Durrell's on Kobe White over 39 points, 3 assists, minus 125 right now, bet 365. And I'm not moving on the player prop. Makes me think of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My man back next. It makes me think of Rosie Perez in White Man Can't Jump, where sometimes when you win, you really lose. I just can't. I'm. I want to gamble as much as possible. I want to have as much action as possible. It's been very difficult cutting out player props, and now it's difficult cutting out totals, and it's working. And I almost feel like an addict talking about it, but I don't want to win on a player prop and then start going back to the well. So I'm just not on it. And I want Bulls.
I'm going to say this, Jay. I'm going to go ahead and step on it also right now, because I don't care who's in. Chicago is not going to score a lot in the first quarter. What is your first quarter line for Miami?
Let's get that. The NFL lines are open for NFL Cappers contest here at Pub Sports Radio. This is my guy, the chillest in the house. Let's grab it for you here. The first quarter on the Heat is -1 at -108.
I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Miami.
Ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Wow, I like it. Jose, we have a new addition to our montage, man. We have a new addition to our montage. Right there,
I'm just looking at it right now, man. They can't get out of first quarters to save their lives. I mean, they even let San Antonio put up 33 points on them. Yeah, this one's a no-brainer here, especially against Miami. Take it now. Take it now. Take first quarter now, because if they're announced in, that line is going to go up. First quarter, I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Look at the numbers on Chicago Bulls first quarter. They cannot get out of first quarters at all. -1.5, I got it at -105.
All right, well, let's roll on. Next up for us, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Timberwolves 17-5, 7-4 on the road at the Dallas Mavericks, 15-8, 7-4 at home at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. First off, Ant Edwards game time decision right now.
Yeah.
Daniels, McLaughlin as well. For the Mavs, of course, Kyrie out, Maxi Kleber out, Josh Green out, Seth Curry and Tim Hardaway and Jones are game time decisions at this point. But Luka's there. Grant Williams, Derek Lively in the 5 and the 4. And Oh, it's sorry. Titans are listed as 2.5 point favorites on the website. I'll make sure that we have that all. Oh, that's right. You mean the Texans? The Titans are favorites. So that
why are they fucking favorites? Is Stroud? You got no wide receiver core, and Stroud, he's in concussion protocol.
No, the Titans are favorites. 2.5
I thought you just said the Texans.
No, that's what I thought he was implying is that
Oh, okay.
it shouldn't be the Titans. But yeah, no, I bet the Titans is favorites. So, I mean, it's all good by the way. All right, let's roll on. So Wolves, Mavericks here for this one. We just went over the injury issues. The Wolves coming off of that loss, pretty ugly, 121-107 at New Orleans, stopping their winning streak. That was on Monday. The Mavericks coming off a real tough 127-125 victory. Luka doing yeoman's work for their fourth straight win. That's the situation here for Wolves, Mavericks. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We will start with the spread. From a spread perspective here, Dallas has moved from favorite to dog. Minnesota opened up here at +2, moved to +1.5, and then moved to -1 29 minutes ago. They moved to -1. At first, that -1 was +103, then it became -101, it's back to +101. Regardless, there's been a move towards the Minnesota Timberwolves, a 3-point move towards them. Let's go over to the total in this one. From a total perspective, we are sitting at a 231.5. This opened up at 230. It's bounced all over the place. Went up to 231.5, back down to 230.5, up to 231.5. But we do have a 1.5 move towards the over and a real legit move towards the Timberwolves. 89% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Timberwolves. You could say, well, that's too much money. But the market is done something about it. They've changed them from dog to favorite. 80% of tickets and 84% cash on the over, and it's all over the place. Take it away for us here, Daryl. Timberwolves, Mavericks.
I don't have a look on this game, man. I'll tell you now. Simulation site right now is giving this game Dallas 116, Minnesota 115. Now, for what it's worth, I have games all the way to the 20th. So this number has been out for a few days. So when I see that, man, I'm like, okay, that's pretty sharp. Dallas just played last night? Was that yesterday? So they're on a back-to-back and they're still favorites. Well, they didn't open as favorites, but this one Tuesday. Is a little hard.
Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday. Yeah. My bad. Okay. So I don't have a good read on this game. Again, I would wait for the injury reports, but this line is pretty sharp. Total score 116-115. I mean, that's 231 right there. So even the total, I mean, goddamn, the total, you're messing with it by a hook. So I stayed off of this game. Dallas actually, here's the craziest thing. When I looked at first quarter points, you wouldn't think so, but Dallas is ranked 5th in the league right now in first quarter scoring. So all the firepower that Minnesota has when they're healthy, and you could say the same for Dallas. Minnesota is ranked like 10. Not even 10. They're 16th in first quarter scoring. So I just didn't have a good read on this game at all. I'm probably not going to play it, even with the injury reports that come out and, give you a final lineup. This game seemed really sharp to me. So I don't think I have an advantage here.
My fear is you bet on Minnesota and Edwards is in, you bet on him and it's a hip injury. It's been a nagging hip injury, takes a shot or goes to the hole or something and, hobbles off the court. I think that's enough for me not to move on it. Even if they report that he's back, it just doesn't feel right. Like, how do we know that he's good to go? Even in that blowout win, he left early. He was clearly in discomfort. Doesn't play in the loss of the Pelicans. There's too many question marks. With the hip injury like that, you want to see him go through a full game. Go to the lane and throw down a hammer before you want to back it here. So I'd like chosen one thing. Oh, yeah.
It's a tale of two teams, Jay, and this is why you would probably go with Dallas. There's teams that stick out right now to where they look very, very different at home than they do on the road, right? One of those teams is Houston. Houston is like damn near undefeated at home, but on the road, it's just the other way around. Timberwolves, they've lost 5 games, right? But 4 of those losses have been on the road. So if I have to make a spot, it would be Dallas, but I don't have a good read on this game at all.
I'm comfortable moving on. The dog to favorite situation, which is so appealing. The little bit of a luster is off of it, knowing that it's a hip injury and you need Ant to be good to go. So let's roll on. Next up for us, 9 p.m. Eastern, Brooklyn Nets 13-10, 5-5 on the road. Denver Nuggets 16-9, 9-1 at home. Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. We have Denver opening up as 9-point favorites. They're now 9.5-point favorites, a half-point move towards them. From a total perspective, we had it opening up at 229. We're up to 230.5. This did get up to 231. And then from a cash flow standpoint here, 33% of the tickets and 61% of the cash are on the Brooklyn Nets. Now, these Brooklyn Nets won again, cashed again at Phoenix last night, 116-112. The talk in the chat all day yesterday, especially from Dan, was that this Brooklyn Nets team against the spread is just elite. Now they're on the second half of a back-to-back against the Nuggets team that, lost Jokic halfway through or whatever the last game, and they've won every game that he's taken he's being kicked out of for whatever reason. We know that's pointless to bring up. Yeah. But here, the Brooklyn Nets starters played a ton to win this game. Johnson 34, Bridges 39, Claxton 33, Dinwiddie 35. Now Thomas played 28. Finney-Smith played 25 off the bench. I mean, this wasn't an easy, comfortable situation for them. Stimmy OG on the first half over 113. So Brooklyn Nets are always going to be appealing to me nowadays, now that I'm watching them a little closer. But do I want him on the second half of a back-to-back against the Nuggets here? I'm not sure. Sammy Comer says emotional letdown from Bridges. Johnson pissed off Jokic tonight. Take it away for us here, Daryl. Nets Nuggets.
Sam also likes the first quarter on that.
Yeah, Denver -3.
Yeah, these guys are just about even first quarter scoring. Brooklyn actually scores more points away in the first quarter. Right now, they are just about tied. Denver's 8th in the league, averaging 29.6, while Brooklyn is 9th in the league, averaging 29.3. Even over the last 3, the average has been Denver 27.3 and Brooklyn 25. Last one, Denver 32, Brooklyn 31. Denver at home 30.9, Brooklyn away 30.4. Damn it, those numbers are so close together that I'm seeing a 3 at first quarter. I say all that to say I like Sam's look there, and I'm going to tail it. Denver first quarter -3. I'm going to put it in right now in my book. I'm going to tail that. I just think you get a really pumped up Denver team. You want to take them at home for whatever reason. Man, tell me this, Jimmy. Does this look like the same team that's going to go to the finals again from what you're seeing right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just at home. They're perfect. 9-1 at home. This is just not a tale of two teams. But I don't know.
They don't care.
They don't care.
That's all they don't care. They don't care. These games aren't important. Why would they? Why? Jokic doesn't care. You think he couldn't care less? No. We're not getting a real example. Let's wait till they have to care about a basketball game. And anytime they do have to care, Jokic shows he's the best player in the league, and the Nuggets show that having the best player in the league gives them an enormous advantage over everybody.
Well, I'm stepping on it. I like Sam's look there. I'm stepping on it there. Just monsters at home. Again, 16-9 for their record and they're 9-1 at home. So yeah, I like that look. I made a play on it. Give me Denver minus 115 here. We'll see how this looks. I like the first quarter look here. I was scared of it because the numbers are very, very close as far as what they're scoring in the first quarter. But I'm going to go with my gut here. Denver -3 first quarter. I like it.
You were locked in. Nuggets first quarter -3 at -109. Locked in, and when the Packers were a dynamite football team, and Aaron Rodgers was arguably, he was clearly very elite. He was like, they were all worried. Remember, he did the whole relax thing.
RELAX. Yeah.
When you watch Jokic and he's talking about, it's like look. It doesn't. These games don't matter, and when they matter, he's going to be the best player on the floor, and the Nuggets are going to win. I don't think anything has changed just because look, they're losing games on the road, and they'll have to fix that at some point. Sean Pulliam, our guy Sean, asking, what about the first quarter over?
That's at 56.5. That's kind of low, to be honest with you. Which means somebody is getting blown the fuck out. Man, I wonder if that's like a 6 to 8 point lead in the first quarter. I got to look at that more. I didn't even think about that. But 56.5. I mean, somebody's scoring 22 and somebody's scoring 30. Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone for now. But that's if I saw a 58, it would make a lot of sense. But 56.5, that's pretty low. I mean, that's 28-29. I mean, yeah, that somebody's scoring 30, somebody's scoring 22.
Well, hopefully it's
hopefully it's the Nuggets there. Yeah, that one's kind of low.
Last night speaking of the Bucks, last night when Giannis put his elbow or forearm or whatever it was in the Halliburton after that bucket, I text my friend and I was like, this is going to be a real easy casher. When the best players in the world care, and it's a different ball game. Even Dame getting embarrassed. It's just
Giannis, in my opinion, is one of the most disrespected superstars in the league. He is. For whatever reason, they just don't like him. From the Harden comments in the All-Star game a couple years back, to where what was it, Montrezl Harrell moving the ladder away after. Giannis puts up shots after every game, works on his free throws, and then, I mean, they didn't even give this man his own game ball. Bro said it. Did you see the post presser after that game?
Yeah.
Where Giannis, I don't think it's the real ball. He's like, I can feel it feels like a new ball. But they'd rather give it to a rookie that scored his first points in the game versus someone who just broke a franchise record. Are you shitting me? To where this man has got to storm the goddamn halls to get the ball that he rightfully deserves. He gets no respect at all, man. But you're looking at a rivalry. I promise you that. Those two teams are not like each other.
Yeah, no doubt. But it sort of goes back to my Jokic thing. Wait till Jokic cares. Because he just doesn't care right now. So I do not think anybody judging the Nuggets, negatively.
My problem with Jokic is you should act like you at least care a little bit from the game that's gotten you millions of dollars. But when I saw when the season started, this guy just nonchalantly just walks in the building like he does not want to be there at all. He'd rather still be racing horses. And I'm like, man, just have a little bit of respect for the game, bro. Like, you act like this game has not awarded you the finer things in life. Like, this game doesn't mean shit to you. And I just hate that attitude.
Yeah, I just I want to see rings all over one hand. And if he's doing that, then just let them be them. We live in this era where we have these expectations that everybody's got to be a certain way or be certain. I don't, he's not from North America.
He isn't.
He's not. He's just, English isn't his first language. I mean, we're going to sit here and just expect them to be, Ryan Reynolds Like, I mean, look, but I hear what you're saying, but I like him. I like him a lot.
Jokic. I like him, Jimmy. I mean, to discount that he's not a good player, I like him. I just hate his attitude and his approach to basketball. Like, it means nothing to him.
I like the interview. Like he does interviews so that nobody wants to interview him.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I like him. I like him, and I wish that he was the center for the Vancouver Grizzlies instead of Big Country Reeves. All right, let's move on. 10 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, Utah Jazz 8-16, 1-11 on the road at the Portland Trail Blazers 6-16, 2-6 at home. Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. The Jazz were very, very good to me last night. God, that was just sometimes things are just. Well, as you know, let's not get caught up. No, we don't need to slap my own ass. Leave it to Gokster to slap his own ass. And he only does that when he watches horse racing. Jazz snapped their 3-game losing streak of 117, 130. And if you come to Publipalooza, you'll see him slapping his own ass there in the off track on the Sunday. 117, 113 victory against the Knicks last night. What a difference with, Markkanen and Kessler. You get a Sexton sighting. Obviously, Sexton is extremely important. Still, Kessler coming in off the bench. I mean, I can't explain that. 9 points, 8 boards, but Markkanen out there, 4 for 8 from 3, 23 points, 8 boards, 0 turnovers. I mean, it's a big deal having him out there. But let's talk about this spot right here for the Jazz at the Blazers. And you have to think that the Jazz might be they might not have a letdown here because they've been so awful this year. Now, they did beat Portland at home in overtime. They barely got past them. That was 12 days ago. So you can't take them lightly here. We've watched the Blazers win games, play teams tough. They lose by 4 at Golden State right after that. But they've lost 2 straight. So the Jazz clearly at a rest disadvantage, second half of a back-to-back. The Blazers have not played since Monday, so they're a rested group. Let's get into the line history here. And Collins, game time decision. Markkanen, game time decision. And Clarkson's out. Clarkson's not playing the second, not playing here. So we have Clarkson out. Collins, game time decision. Markkanen, game time decision. For the Blazers, Ayton, Brogdon, game time decisions, and Jeremy Grant out. But, Simons and Sharp both there. Let's get into the line history here for this one. I think it'll be very telling with the cash flow combined. So we have the Jazz sitting here as 3.5-point dogs. They opened up as 2.5-point dogs. We have a 1-point move towards the Trailblazers. From a total scenario, we are sitting here with a 226. This opened up at 228. It's dropped 2 points. And then when we get to the cash flow here for this one, 85% of the tickets and 91% of the cash is on the Blazers. Now, it's a little different here. When we talk about the Thunder Kings next game, or we just talked about, Brooklyn, Denver, there's 17,000 tickets bet on those games. Here for the Jazz Trailblazers, we have 3,000 tickets being bet on this game. People don't want anything to do with it. So there you go. That's the setup of people all over the Blazers. At least there's been a 1-point move towards them. And 77% of tickets, 97% cash on the under. Take it away for us here, Durrell, Jazz, Blazers, Moda Center.
Yeah, I don't want to take this one away. I don't. I really don't. I mean, it's a tale of 2 teams again, man. They're just kind of splattered all on the NBA. Utah's 1-11 on the road, bro. 1-11 on the road. Like, goddamn. Terrible team. They're just like Houston. These 2, they're just 2 bad teams that I don't want to play on. That's how it goes. Ultimately, I don't think I have an edge. Portland is actually one of the bottom teams to score in the first quarter. But if you look at the last 2 games they played against Utah, they blow them out the water. So this is just a team that probably has their number, and Utah has to come out hot really early. I don't see any advantage for this game, it looks like right now, according to simulation site, Portland 116, Utah 112. Now I'm telling you, Jimmy, these numbers have been out for at least 5 days. 5 days. So when I see numbers that are that sharp and they're out even before the books have them, I don't even want to play them, to be honest with you. I don't. So again, I think this line is sharp. I do. I think this line is sharp. So if you like Utah, I would say probably hold off on it right now. I don't see Utah in a good spot. Portland, I don't even really like either. I mean, they're not really a good team. And so I just feel that when I have two teams that I don't think one is predominantly better than the other, I just try to stay away from it. So that's how I feel about this game.
Yeah, I don't. 13-3 run. I'm not going to sit here and make a move here, especially with all the question marks around who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But we have great news for me because I want the Bulls. Either Hero or Bam's in. That's moved to 4.5. Great news for you guys who moved on the Heat at -1. That line's going to be changing. This is great. I want it. I'd like them both to be in. Let's move this to 5.5. I don't care that they're in. Let's move them.
That's why I got in it. Yeah, and that's if they're both in, Jay. That's really good for this number. They're going to blow them out in the first quarter. I promise you.
Let's move on to the next spot on the board. We head over to 10 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma City Thunder 15-7, 7-3 on the road at Sacramento Kings. 13-9, 7-3 at home at the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. We have the Thunder off back-to-back wins, beat the Warriors at home in overtime. I watched that game. It was wild. You're running well when you get the tip-in, the meaningless tip-in with 0.01 seconds left to cover. Jesus, that was too much. I felt bad because I was going up against LJ in that game. And LJ, LJ
was on. He was on the other side.
Yeah, he's on the Thunder. If that game should have been over in regulation, it was just stupid. Draymond being Draymond, idiot fouling from 3. That game should have been over. Draymond being Draymond, but I was very fortunate to get the cover in the end. And then the Thunder beat up on Utah on Monday, 134-120. So now they head out to the road to Sacramento. A Sacramento team playing their third game in 4 nights. They beat the Suns 114-106 at Phoenix. Then they beat Brooklyn 131-118 at home. We know how good Brooklyn's playing right now. And then they lose the next night at the Clippers. And that was on Tuesday evening, 119-99. A tough spot for them. When Sacramento is tired or in a bad travel spot, they just give in. There's not a lot of pushback from this squad when they're in a tough spot. Sacramento, but they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. And I've got my future on them to win the West at a ridiculous number. Sacramento -2 at -105 is the opener, and that's exactly where it is right now. We've had no movement at all on the side. From a total side of things here, we're dealing with a 244.5. Opened up at 241.5 with a 3-point move to the over. Then from the cash flow standpoint here, we have move over here. We have 63% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on the Thunder. And the line is not moving. Interesting. 95% of guys. There are 18,215 tickets in. Then you have 15% of tickets and 31% cash on the under, and it's climbed 3 points. Troy Torrance in the house says he leans Kings heavy. Only game that stuck out to him.
Wow. Good shit, Troy.
And then North Ender said he had the Spurs plus 3.5. He says knows how I feel. So leaning to the Kings heavy. We have 95% of the cash on the Thunder, and it's not moving. You have a Kings team that is playing their third game in 4 nights against the rested Thunder squad. Mm-hmm. And then the only other thing is we go to that loss in LA for the Clippers. Herter plays 17. I mean, they emptied the entire bench. It's not like these guys were exhausted. I mean, Murray played the most at 31. Sabonis played 26. Fox played 25. I mean, they just let go in that game. Take it away for us here, Durrell, because the Kings have piqued my interest as well.
Yeah, I don't have a good read on this game, to be honest with you, either. Simulation site says Oklahoma 119, Sac 116. So it actually has Oklahoma winning this game outright. If I were to play this game, I would probably go back to the well with Oklahoma's total points. I mean, right now, 134, 138. They lost to Houston 101, 126, 133. I mean, this team is going to give you over 120 against a bad team or any team at that matter. So I feel like the way I should play this out is going to be Oklahoma City over. I mean, you just look at how they've played each other, 124, 123, 105. They can go either way here. And so I just feel like I don't have a competitive edge here either, to be honest with you. I don't know how this game is going to go at all. Sacramento has pretty much won every game they've played, right? So maybe this is a time for Oklahoma City to get their lick back. But just dating back from January of this year, they've smacked them 4 games in a row, and it hasn't been like by a small margin. Like I'm surprised that the spread is so low for the way Sacramento has beaten this team convincingly. So 105-98, 123 to 117, 124 to 115, 118 to 113. You're getting a -1.5. So I would probably just be off of this game. I don't have a good read on this game either, but I would look at the team total for Oklahoma.
Yeah, why would this? I mean, the Thunder are playing good basketball. I mean, that's
and they're good on the road too. That's a team that's pretty balanced. They're good on the road. I mean, they're 7-3. So Sacramento's 7-3 at home. OKC is 7-3 on the road, and OKC's only lost 7 games.
God. So I'm close to moving on Sacramento here. So we have 62% of the tickets and 84% of the cash. So that's changed a little bit. So clearly some tickets are coming in on the Kings. 62% of the tickets and 84% of the cash. And yet, there's just no move towards it. And there's never been a move. These bets have come in here. At one point this morning, they were juiced to -109. There's never been a move.
You're not seeing any 2s anywhere yet?
Only 2s. That's all I ever saw at Pinnacle. Yeah. Pinnacle's never not been a 2. Now, Bet Online's different. They came out at +3.5 yesterday at 1:51 p.m. Within 11 minutes, it moves to 2.5, and then it moves to 2, then to 1.5, and then back, bouncing back and forth, 2.5. Right now, though, how do the Kings not bounce back at home? I mean, if this was game 5 of a playoff series, and we're coming off of a game 4 loss. I mean, how do they not bounce back at home? I mean, I just, I guess what would be the biggest concern? The biggest concern, I don't see the concern. I don't see the concern. I think this was lined up at 3.5 points, and people think this is going to be a close game. Take the points with a Thunder team that's playing great on the road. So it moves down to 2.
There's no injury report issue, right? So you got a healthy Sacramento team, and I don't see why they wouldn't. Sac just has their number. I don't know. This one's kind of tricky to me.
Well, I need action here. I've been very, very, very picky, as you tend to do when you're running hot. So
you gotta be, man.
I think at this point, we've got one more game to go. At this point, I love to move more towards the Heat. I want it to continue. I want Hero and Bam to be an outstanding, and then I want to move on the Bulls late. And then it'll just be the Kings. I'm adding the Kings. I'm on the Kings.
Okay.
I'm betting the Kings. Okay.
And see, you're steering me in that direction right now, to be honest with you. God damn.
Sammy says Hero and Bam are out. So then the move, well, that would be a little concerning if the move toward this last 1-point move towards the Heat was based just on sharp action then. Damn, Sammy. Okay. If the move towards the Heat is based solely on sharp action, then that will change my That'll completely change my ideology on the Bulls. Completely. So that's crucial information. Crucial information. So that's not what I want to get into. I wanted to get into the Heat bringing some reinforcements back. And we've seen these teams on the second half of back-to-backs in NHL and NBA playing really well lately.
Listen, Top Set says it right. I don't care who's in or out for the first quarter against the Bulls. The Heat early, the Bulls late. This is why it's so easy to capitalize on the Bulls first quarter and fading them. If they were getting blown out in first quarter and blown out in all the games, then the books would make the adjustments. But the fact that you can set a number, right, and the Bulls could possibly cover that late in the full game, the books can't really do anything differently. Maybe mathematically add an extra hook or something like that on the first quarter. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter, Jimmy, who's playing the first quarter for the Heat. The Bulls just get rallied for whatever reason, but then they just make this comeback. So Top Set has it right. The Heat early, the Bulls late. That's the way to probably look at this game.
Well, so at this point, then that's not what I want to get in the way of, is like real sharp action. And, we have you on the first quarter with the Heat, is all that. If that maybe it's something I want to get in live, but for pregame action right now, it looks like it might just be the Kings. But we have one game left. Left. We are 53 minutes away from the Cappers contest show as well, hosted by Jose Bouquet and myself. Let's roll. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Golden State Warriors 10-13, 5-7 on the road at the LA Clippers 13-10, 9-3 at home. We are at Crypto.com Arena. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Clip show sitting right now -5.5, -103. Opened up at 5, up to 5.5. Got up to 6 at 1 p.m. and then came back. 5.5, a half-point move towards the Clippers. Not a real strong one. It's not like it's juiced over there. Kong, I didn't know if that was me. I don't know if anyone said that Bam was ruled in. I just thought that if the line had moved, that Hero or Bam, who are listed as game time decisions, was locked in. I didn't know if I saw anybody say that.
I should have told you though, Jay, because he is officially ruled out on the injury report. So the latest one that just came out, he and Hero are both ruled out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave the Bulls off. From a total scenario, this opened up at 231. It's now up to 231.5. So not much going on there. Okay, call clips. Okay. Then we go to the cash flow here. 58% of tickets, 61% of the cash on the Clippers, 41% of tickets, and 97% cash on the under. So this is a real interesting psychological situation that I would like to step into here. Obviously, the Warriors are rattled. Losing Draymond Green, there's some positives about it, but there's also negatives in that the Warriors just don't have toughness. And Draymond gives them that toughness. And they're better with him on the court, even though he makes such bonehead decisions sometimes, like fouling at the 3-point line when they're down 3 with seconds left. So the Warriors are coming off 2 very, very emotional games. The OKC game and the Phoenix game, both on the road. They're still on the road. They head to LA against the Clippers team that's rolling right now. I mean, this is just a Clippers team that is rolling. We were waiting for it to happen. It's happened. And it started with that win at home over Golden State. They went into Golden State. They lose 120-114. They come back and win by a point. Golden State plays them tough. Since then, they beat Denver, Utah, Portland. Their head wasn't in it for Portland. Sacramento, they cared and they tried. So, when we go back to those the home and home with Golden State, where Golden State probably looked like the better team, they were still trying to find their rhythm. That with the game where they lose by a point in LA, Draymond Green goes for 21 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, and a block. I mean, we're missing a big piece of the toughness from the squad, and if they don't have it, I mean, I don't know why we'd be too concerned about them. Now, I would like to see that cash flow one more time. 58 and 61 on the Clippers. When we go to that game where the Warriors won, Draymond Green, 13 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. I mean, he's just who is going to is what Saric going to come in there or Kuminga? Kuminga has skills. There's no doubt about that, but does he have the toughness? Take it away for us here, Daryl. Warriors, Clippers at crypto.
So, man, I am a really big fan, and you know it, Jimmy. Us talking now for 3 years, you know that sometimes I pull out my tinfoil hat, and you know how I look at narratives, and I use even narratives and different situations into my capping. Doesn't mean it's 100% accurate, but I boil it down to where, listen, man, these professional players are people just like us, right? These players put their pants on just like we do. They have emotions, they have feelings, they have distractions. And you would have to be sick in the head if you think Draymond being suspended indefinitely does not have an effect on the coach and the players. You've got to be sick if you don't think that. Now, of course, they're at a different mindset and how they approach things because they're professionals. They're paid tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to play a game. Personally, I think this hurts them. I think it hurts their psyche. I really do. You can't tell me that it doesn't. And of course, this happens all the time with Dre. This is nothing new. This team kind of probably has learned to adjust when Dre does the stupid shit that he does. But this one feels a little different, Jay. This one feels a little different, bro. Because we're talking about this guy's career. And we're talking about this guy probably doing some steps to anger management. They're pretty much treating this guy the same way they treated Kyrie when he made his anti-Semitic comments, right? And having to do these different steps before he could get back on the court and play. That's kind of what you see happening with Dre when they're saying he's suspended indefinitely. They're probably going to set him down, talk to him, and he's going to probably have to do some steps in order to get back on the court. This one's different, Jay. And you have a team right now in the Los Angeles Clippers that is playing some really good basketball. 5-game winning streak, man. Like, these guys are not, they're on a high horse right now. And when you have a formula that's working, you just keep repeating that formula until it doesn't work anymore. So I say all that to say, I believe this is a Clippers spot. I really do. I believe the Clippers smell blood in the water. I believe the Clippers are going to come out here and dominate them at home. Like, no, man. This is definitely a Clippers spot. I could only look at the Clippers here, and in this case here, they might eke out a win. They might cover this spread by maybe 1 or 2 points, but they should cover it. So I do like the Clippers. I haven't gotten there yet. I just want to kind of wait on this, see if there's any type of news that come out with Dre throughout the day. If he sat down and talked with Silver, or if he sat down and talked with the NBA PA, you just kind of see what, maybe nothing's happening at this point right now. Maybe it's just a bunch of chatter going on behind the scenes. But let me fill this day out before I step on the Clippers. I think the Clippers are the move. Real quick, just to go back, there was somebody who asked about the Denver first quarter. He saw 52.5 on ESPN. If you see a 52.5, take the over. Take the over on that Denver first quarter. I saw 56.5. So I don't know if that was just a typo, whoever that was. But if you're seeing a 52.5 Denver first quarter, please take the over on that first quarter. Thank me later. So, yeah. So, Jimmy, my only play here, I'm sorry. My only play here really would be to take the Clippers. Somebody else said that there was all this money on the Clippers and there hasn't been a move at all, which, yeah, that kind of gives you a little cause for pause, which is another reason why I'm happy to stay away from this game for now, because when you have that much on a side and you don't see the movement as it should, then that could give you cause for pause. Lastly, simulation site having this game, Clippers 118, Golden State 113. So again, I don't know what it is about today, bro, but these lines seem very, very sharp.
Is there a chance? Is there a chance that George doesn't play? I know that he tweaked his groin. He said he could have come back in the game. I mean, do we have a beat writer? Anybody see him at shoot around? Is there any concern that George won't be in?
He's still showing questionable. I would love to see with beat writer, because they'll tell you if he's at shoot around. If he's shooting that shoot around, he's probably going to play. But the star of the hour really right now, man, is Kawhi. I mean, this guy's giving you back-to-back 30-point games, saying that he hasn't felt this good from like 3 years ago. So I tell you right now, man, the Clippers, they just kind of look unstoppable. They really look unstoppable. And they're at home. So yeah, hurry up and wait on this line. See what happens with Paul George. But at this point, it's Clippers or nothing for me.
I don't see when we see a player get hurt or something like that, and you're like, oh man, this is different. This is a basketball player out of control and costing his team enormously. So the only issue, and Chilla says sounds like sell high to me. I don't think this is a sell high on the Clippers. If you have to decide psychologically, are the Clippers going to dig deep here? The Warriors going to dig deep without Draymond? And if Draymond broke his leg under the hoop, I would say yes. But it's Draymond being an idiot that's put him in this situation. And I want the Clippers. My only concern is, and this is what I'd have to do, is if Paul George was announced out, I would have to bet it again.
Really?
I would have to. I would have to save face and bet it again. That's the only way. And because if I wait now, I do think this is going to move in the Clippers' direction. So okay, I apologize for my son crying. Got a sick family all here at home. So I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to make it. I'm going to bet the Clippers. I'm going to bet the Kings. They're going to be my only two spots on the board. Even though I really want the Bulls, I'm going to trust that sharp action there. I think that this line is just lined correctly, and there people believe in Curry. That's the one constant in NBA betting is they always believe he's going to bounce back. If he has a bad game, he's going to go for 50 the next game. They always believe in him, but Draymond is everything for this team, except scoring and smarts.
It's smart. If you don't believe, man, you've heard something. If you don't think that Draymond is a heart and soul of the team, you're sadly mistaken. It is not Steph Curry. It is not. Steph Curry is a leader and he's well respected, but the heart and soul of that team is without a doubt, Dre, all day. So this hurts them. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Narratives and like situations and things like that. This hurts them. And if you don't think that it's getting inside their head, because you could be used to a guy being ejected, right? They're used to that. But at least you have a time period on when he's going to come back and you learn to adjust. But when you got this shit happening now and you don't know when he's going to come back, and on top of that, he's got to agree to those steps, right? What if Dre sees the shit that he's got to do? He's like, man, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Then you got a whole another can of worms that's been open that you got to kind of figure out. So I just feel that without Dre on that squad, man, a lot of people think because, like you said, he doesn't score and he does stupid shit like he's in the fucking WWE, that he doesn't mean anything to this team, that he's a bum. There's a reason why Golden State paid him $100 million, man. There's a reason why, because he does those things to where you hear that old verbiage. He does shit that doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
I'm locked in. I got my action tonight. The problem is I got to wait till 10 p.m. for it to pop off, but I got NHL earlier. I don't know if I'm going to add anything at this point in NCAA basketball. Really, I didn't feel like the situation really correlated at this point. So, hey, let me try this. What about Justin Muckleby? Justin Muckleby. How about that? Is that right? I think that might be right. Justin Muckleby.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man.
It's got to be quick with it, right? Got to be quick with it. Justin Muckleby.
Come on.
Justin
Come on.
Muckleby.
What is
Justin
it? What
Muckleby.
is that? Is that a hockey player?
Okay. All right. Let's review all action here. Sammy Comer on the Clips first quarter -1.5. Justin Muckleby on the Kobe White over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists at +110. That's the stacks play of the day. Then we have nothing for Cavs, Celtics. Durrell's also on Kobe White over 30.5 points, rebounds, assists -125. Heat first quarter -1. I have Bulls weight, but if that's sharp action that's moving it towards the Heat, I'm not going to bother getting in the way of that. That's not what's been working here, getting in the way of sharp action. That's not why the record looks the way it does. Timberwolves, Mavericks, we are off. And then Sammy Comer on Denver first quarter -3. The Chosen One.
I'm with you, Sam.
Yeah. And same with Durrell and the Chosen One. You guys are all on that spot. Chosen One also on the Nuggets first half -5.5. Jazz, Blazers, we are off. And then my action, Kings, Clips. Home teams out west to finish off the job. Great work, Durrell, my man. It was very, very interesting slate here. Tricky, interesting, fun slate.
It's
thank
sharp,
you.
man.
Yeah,
It's
no
sharp.
doubt. No doubt. Thank you for all your hard work, my man. I love capping with you. Can't wait to hang with you in person finally in San Antonio for Pubapalooza. My friend, please follow Durrell on X at It's Durrell. Durrell, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Hey, man, appreciate you guys. Yeah, let's win today. I feel good about the picks we made, Jay. I think we're on to something here, man. Let's keep that energy going. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. I'll see y'all next week.
There he is. Durrell in the house. All right, let's review all action. We have our Cappers contest show in 38 minutes. Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, gave us Brandon Royval at +160. Gonna copy that here. I'll pop it here in the chat for you guys. There it is. That's the action here. Jarek White saying, is Ant Edwards in? We don't know yet, but Jarek White, my bigger concern was betting because he's in, being relieved that he's in, watching him go to the hoop and hobble off the court. It's a hip injury. I think that you need him to play a full game and then bet him the next time. I think. So Subhuman Gaucho, the Subhuman Soccer play of the day, Brighton versus Marseille over 3. Then we get into NHL. Blue Jackets first period +170 for me. Goksters on first period, both teams to score +140 in that one. Goksters on full game under 5.5 and first period under 1.5 in Washington, Philadelphia. Goksters on Carolina team total over 2.5, and then he's tied together Carolina money line and the team total over 2.5. I'm on Carolina -1 at -106. I'm on the Blues -1 at +175. Goksters on first period over 1.5 and full game over 5.5 in Ottawa, St. Louis. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's Minnesota Wild -1. I'm on the Oilers -1 at -107. And then I've got to decide what to do with the Panthers. I'm going to make that decision here before the Cappers contest show. Goksters on the Panthers money line. They're coming off being shut out. The Canucks final game of a homestand. They hit the road afterwards. It's a very interesting spot, and I'm certainly leaning heavily towards Panthers first period rather than full game, and I don't want to double up. Then I think I move on the Kraken puck line when the show's over. I'm going to take a little bit more time with that. Goksters on team total under 2.5 Seattle money line. Happy birthday to Abel Alvarez. Happy 50th birthday to our guy. BJ's best bet is the Raiders money line, and we've been talking about this, and I've been thinking about this game, for 3 days. Just can't get it out of my head. And let's just take another look at the lines here. And we'll talk about this, obviously, in the Cappers contest, so I have another chance to do this. But this feels right to me to back the Chargers. By the way, Coin had told us that it moved to 3.5 at Circa. It's right back at 3 now. Coin let us know that. Thank you, Kelly, my friend. So Goksters on Eckler over 29.5 receiving yards. He's on both teams to score a 1 field goal each half. And I want first half full game on the Chargers. I really think now I'm going to wait to talk it out again. It's a members only show for the Cappers contest, but I really think that if we're sitting here with 85% of the cash over 102,490 tickets, you can get the Raiders went to 2.5 at one point. Why in the world would they do that? We know what happens around this time of year. The public takes it in the bottom mouth. So why not see 85? Now, I guess the problem with that, not bottom mouth, excellent term. The problem with the public is because 56% of the tickets are on the Chargers. BJ says, these teams already met this season, right? What was it? Was it Aiden O'Connell versus Easton Stick? Because, was Antonio Pierce the coach for the Raiders? I don't know if that is the. It doesn't matter to me. So we're going to talk about it in the Cappers Contest show in 34 minutes. Then, and look, I don't want to go up against you, BJ, and that's why I'm going to need serious conviction to go up against you. Serious conviction. If I have it, I'll move on. Jared TG, Michael Meyer over 2.5 receptions, 20+ reception yards. Eckler over three or more receptions, and Jokic over 23.5 rebounds, assists for my guy Jared TG. Go get that cash, Jared. Then I think I might move on Tulane first half. The line might have moved too far, but that would be my only college basketball move. Tulane first half. I'd prefer Tulane in a race to 20, but that would be way too juiced. Cavs on Jacksonville State -2.5. Cavs on UCLA first half and full game. Mike Yam's on the over 48.5 in that one. Dave Rogers is on New Mexico State. That's the only college look or bet I have. Now, it's not been a good year in college football. So I'm not running hot in college football either. And I did have a nice run there about a month ago. So don't worry about what I'm on in college football. Then Dave's on Citadel +13.5, East Carolina +15, and the under 144.5. And that is our show for today. Jose, you want to jump on here with us? Can we see the sultry look of Reverse Sweep Ramon? Maybe. We'll see if he pops up backstage. But we got to put a bow on this show. Thank you guys for your support. Troy Torrance, Gold 44, DC Capper, Tops at Wine Time Sports, Nut Flush Allen, The Chillest. TJ says, with you on the Chargers being to play plus points, but what motivation do they have? They need to tank to make the season worth something now. Well, Staley will get fired immediately. And Staley and Stick and Staley, baby. That's the motivation. They need to win. Those two guys need to win. Keenan Allen's not playing. Palmer's back. Now Palmer needs to step the fuck up. The fact that this line's not even moving with the Keenan Allen announcement is nuts. It's crazy. So that's my answer to that, TJ. Because Staley will get fired immediately. He'll get fired before the season. There he is. Old sweet T-Tits himself in the house. Jose, how are you?
I've got some work to do after the show here, but it's okay. I'm all right. Let's get right.
All right, let's pull him. Usually we give him the 8 seconds. Maybe he'll come back when he's got the regular audio. Saturated, my dad's taken me to the woodshed. And he's been paid. So he's good. Oh, we've lost Jose completely. He's been paid. He's good. He's not doing anything. He's not moving on this game. But if he bet on the Raiders, you know what I would do? I would not send that shit in. Look, well, my dad's going to go on what? He's won 3 straight right now. He's going to win 6 straight, 7, 8 straight. I will bet against that. Jose, let's hear you again, my friend.
Yeah, I have some more. Obviously, I have some work to do after the show, so we do have to wrap it up. We got to cut these segments out all before the Cappers Contest show. But tweets have been sent. We're all ready to go for that. It's going to be fun. And shout out to Nasty Nate. And hopefully, Jimmy, on top of betting New Mexico, you bet Thomas Woodford touchdown last game, like he said. So hella motivated. Love a tight end in the red zone.
Sure you do, Jose. BJ, I'm not there yet. Hopefully I'll get there after the Cappers Contest show because, like I've said often, when you have the conviction to go up against someone that you respect. Your ROI is really high. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I'm on my way. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for supporting the show. We love you guys. It means you guys mean everything to us, man. We have nothing without you. Jose, can you bless our action and take us into the future?
Yes. Good luck to everyone. Shout out to Carter for making his appearances in the show as well. We appreciate his presence. Topset, Troy, JPZ, Saturated, North Ender, all you guys, all the members in here, BJ, Nutflush, Kelly. Expect to see all you guys at Pubblepalooza as well. We'll keep hammering it over the head, Pubblepalooza. And don't forget, don't show up like an idiot and not have any Pub Sports Radio gear coming into Pubblepalooza. Go grab a shirt from the Teespring and our Pub Sports Radio shop on our website. Both are different. You got different designs on each, so you can check it out. Let us know which ones you guys like. We're going to have more on there as Pubblepalooza gets closer. The Jimmy shirt, a Pete shirt, and, of course, we'll have Pubblepalooza shirts on sale as well. So don't forget that as well. But appreciate everyone. Say hey, everyone, to your family members, and let's go fucking get lucky today. Leche, Elos Bookmaker.